Welcome everybody to our latest session of Dragon of Icespire Peak. The group's gotten themselves into quite a bit of trouble here, so we're hoping that they will be able to pull this one out. Otherwise, this might be a really short session, so we'll see how this goes. So jumping into a quick recap, as we usually do, the group has spent a couple of sessions now in Axholm. The most recent part that they were in Axholm, or the beginning of last session, I should say, the group had found their way through most of the lower level of Axholm and then found their way up to the second level of Axholm. Upon ascending a set of stairs, they noticed there was a ton of webs. They started moving around the room, sort of inspecting it, and then suddenly several spiders descended from the ceiling in order to engage the group. The group was sort of split up here as the spiders were fighting them, sort of dragged some people off. It was quite dangerous. They wrapped that battle up, however. In doing so, lost one teammate. So when we picked up last week, the group found themselves waiting at the lower level and sort of hoping they could get some time in to recuperate, catch their breath, that sort of thing. They did so and managed to make their way back up to the second floor looking for oh boy, drawing blanks on names here. This is not a good sign. But yeah, so we had one of our, Bryn, that's it. Jeez. Okay, so Bryn unfortunately was dropped by one of the spiders, so she was upstairs and wounded. The group then decided, to follow the retreating spider downstairs, defeat that. So when we picked up last week, the group quickly made their way back up to check on Bryn. She was not where she was left. This was a bit ominous as she was left there alone with nobody looking at her. The group scanned around pretty quickly, and after a short bit of time was able to find a webbed cocoon up the nearby chimney. It seemed as though the cocoon itself was actually being dragged further up, vertically up this chimney, and the team quickly tried to pull it down. So we had some team members jumping in, grabbing on, a couple of them assisting, trying to drag this cocoon down. Eventually was able to do so, cut through it, and find that it was indeed Bryn. Bryn was unconscious from the battle, but the group had recovered her. Kind of looked up that chimney to see if there was any obvious signs of danger, but did not spot anything. During this same time, unbeknownst to the group, a new arriving future companion had arrived and began investigating the entrance to Axholm here, and started making his way around. Eventually, the group ran into this companion up on that second floor as they were sort of moving around, heard some noise, heard the sound of the portcullis slamming down below. The group then spotted this new companion up on the second level. They engaged in a quick conversation. The new companion introduced himself as Gorlami, or Gore for short, and had indicated that he was looking for his companion, Kadash, and he thought perhaps Kadash had come in here, and this is why Gore was looking around for him. The group sort of explained some of their woes, recent losses of their team, and decided it was in mutual interest to group together to continue clearing this area out to make it a safe haven for the citizens of Phandalin, as well as try to find this lost scout Kadash. The group continued on their way, searched the upper level, found another chimney. Kurtu was sort of using firebolt to shoot up there, seeing if anything was open, clear. He had repeated this a few different times. In this particular room, when he did that, he actually broke away some of the debris and webbing and so forth that was near the top, and this allowed some of this greenish rain that the team had heard coming down outside and sort of peeked out through some of the crenellations or murder holes to spot this congealed, collecting greenish rain on the ground. As some of this greenish rain touched upon Kurtu, he started feeling not so well, and this seemed to last for a bit of time. The group continued searching around the area, looking for anything out of the ordinary, made their way down below, looped back around to take the stairs back up on the other side of the second floor, and once they got sort of around, spotted a spectral or a astral or ethereal figure, depending on how you want to look at it, and in spotting this figure, engaged it in combat. They tried to originally parlay with this creature perhaps, or at least spotted it and then turned and started talking with one another like, hey, what's the plan here? And this spectral creature seemingly did not like that so much, so charged or started floating closer to the team. This turned into a battle. The group was able to dispatch this floating creature without too much difficulty, though her being able to go through walls certainly aided her, and her terrible wailing sound was potentially catastrophic, it certainly knocked Misa down to the ground. The rest of the team was more fortunate and was just suffered some damage without being dropped to the ground. After dispatching this spectral creature, it wasn't too much longer that the group realized with this loud echoing wail that this creature had given out, there was the sound of movements coming from all around the team. They had just a few brief moments to decide what to do and pretty much stayed in the hallway here as they sort of braced, tried to determine what was occurring, where this danger precisely was coming from. And then, unfortunately, due to that delay, they found themselves pretty quickly nearly surrounded as enemies seemed to come from almost all directions here. So there was the north door that opened and more ghouls revealed there. Some more ghouls came from the eastern stairs. Some ghouls came from the southwest stairs. And then finally a stronger looking ghoul, which some in the team, particularly those proficient in religion, might recognize as a ghast, had come from the west. The group quickly found themselves once again split up and sort of fighting their own little battles between these enemies. And it was quickly turning against them as the ghoul paralysis, while not effective against our elf team members, was effective against others, particularly was able to paralyze Kat and I believe paralyze Finn at one point in time. I think Gorlami was paralyzed a couple of times for brief periods of time. Altogether, the group fought these creatures, doing as best they could. Unfortunately, Kat, once paralyzed, was a very easy target and was able to be critically hit by the enemies. Eventually, the group did manage to defeat all of these creatures, but it did not come without loss, as the group was able to find that once they returned to Kat, she unfortunately did not survive. The group then decided, after having dispatched these creatures, to try to find somewhere to rest because they were very exhausted and very wounded. So the Gorlami was knocked out but not slain. Kat unfortunately was slain. Eomir is looking pretty badly hurt, as is Bryn, as is Finn. So everybody is certainly worse for wear, having fought a very difficult battle here from all different directions. The group made their way downstairs, looked outside, spotted that there was this, again, pooled, congealed rain outside, and was a little bit concerned about that, being that it's obviously not a natural rain. They could see it, and then obviously they saw the effects of it splashing on Kurtu from outside. He was poisoned for a period of time, longer than probably most minor poisons, but not too long, perhaps measured in a matter of minutes, you could say. The group looked around carefully, were trying to decide what to do. Should they try to make the trek out through this poisonous water on the ground and find their way back to Phandalin, or should they try to rest inside of Axholm, where they've already suffered heavy losses here, losing both Reggie and Kat during their time exploring Axholm. And that is where we left off. So the group sort of backed themselves into the entrance area here and is trying to just brace for, at a minimum, for Gorlami to regain consciousness. It seems as though the group is predominantly without healing, to the best of my knowledge at this point. So group, that was a quick recap. Is there anything I missed that anybody would like to add? All right, hearing nothing, then we will go ahead and jump over and get into our session. Quick note for anybody watching this: 2 of our players are moving across country today, so won't be with us today. That's Bryn's player and Finn's player. So they might be a bit quiet here in the beginning, and yeah, we'll see how things go. All right, group, so we find ourselves back in this room that you guys had decided to sort of hold up in. So as you're looking at the wounded Gorlami, the slain Kat, and just sort of as looking at your surroundings here, I think the question that is likely still floating in your space at the moment is what to do. Are you guys just simply trying to pass time here to see if Gorlami can come back to consciousness?
Yeah, I think that was the plan. While we're waiting, kind of wanted to, hey, Kurtu, did you ever get the chance to, I don't know, retrieve some of Kat's belongings?
I wasn't down there. I didn't know I was responsible for that.
Well, usually you're the one who does.
We don't usually lose people.
And in that case, can I? Yeah, I don't think it was ever mentioned before, but like, kind of loot her gear.
Okay,
Clothes.
is there something in particular you're looking for, or just trying to find everything that is on her person?
Yeah, anything that might look something that valuable.
She
Like,
wouldn't mind you taking it. I know that. She wouldn't mind it all. She gets it.
Okay,
well,
so doing a quick scan of the gear, probably what I'll do is just take a snapshot of this and post it into our Discord, and you can review and see if there's anything there of interest.
can do. So I'm just thinking like there's got to be like thieves tools, maybe some weapons, you know.
Vic, I don't know if it's me. I'm having a hard time hearing you a little bit.
I think it's probably me.
All right, so I've gone ahead and posted the equipment there on Kat's sheet. So as you start looking through her body, one thing I will point out here is the light crossbow +1. That is due to the Artificer infusion, so that is not a permanent magic item.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll type out what I want.
Definitely don't need the lucky charm. It didn't work for her. So, I mean, that one's broken.
All right, so it sounds like you guys are essentially just trying to hang here until Gorlamu might regain consciousness.
Yeah, and I would say take the signet ring that was on the dead dwarf, just in case that's worth anything later on. But that would be just an idea there.
Yeah, I'm typing out what I wanted.
Okay, so as you guys allow some time to pass here, I'm going to go ahead and roll some dice.
Well, that's fun. Be gentle.
Yeah, we're trying to take a short rest.
Alrighty, so as you guys are holed up here in this corner, trying to just allow some time to pass, I believe, remind me, didn't you guys already take 2 short rests today?
I believe we did. That's why we couldn't take
I don't
a short
remember.
rest.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't recall.
I think so, because yeah, that's why you guys were really tight as far as what you were going to accomplish here. Right. Okay. So an hour will pass with nothing of significance occurring here. Gorlami, unfortunately, is still unconscious. Is it your plan to wait longer to see if Gorlami becomes conscious?
What I think we should do is probably try to see if we can find things to use as boots. So that way, if we have to walk out of here, we're not stepping in the rainwater. Maybe we can wrap our shoes around things like, I don't know, like cloth or something. I don't know.
Adam, is there anything that we may remember that we, I mean, obviously just trying to do theater of the mind, that's always challenging sometimes, but anything that we could probably use as boots or something?
Well, you've killed several dwarf ghouls. I would say if you were to spend some time ransacking their corpses, some of them obviously would still have shoes or boots on of some type. As far as any kind of cloth, again, probably looking through corpses. You could do a cursory, scan around the place again to see if there was any type of cloth. You found a few places where there's some odds and end belongings, but just top of mind, I don't recall any particular quantities of cloth.
Yeah, I could probably be in my size. I'm assuming maybe put my feet inside of, my shoes inside of a dwarf shoe. I don't know. I could check to see if there's one big enough for that.
Yeah, I think it would be fairly reasonable if you got several corpses to scan through here. So yeah, if you're willing to spend some time heading back to where the corpses are and looking through them, you might be able to find something like that.
Guys, do you think we should do that? Maybe we can. If we have to leave here, I don't want to walk in that goo. That stuff doesn't feel good.
And unfortunately, it's only you and Aomir who are conscious right now and players. So just the two of you guys making these decisions.
I do like the idea of possibly finding something to cover our feet.
I'd rather have a double layer. You know, that stuff's nasty, and I don't know how far it's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be all the way to town, or if it's just going to be around here. I mean, who knows?
Very true.
All right, Adam, I'm going to go ahead and do that. Obviously, theater of the mind, I can't remember where some of the bodies are from where we are at right now.
Yep, yeah, that's no problem. So you're going to head back. Are you going alone, or are you taking somebody with you?
Well, I would take Misa, but we know she can't hit with crap, so, she's not going to be helpful. Man, everyone's so wounded. How far away would I remember where some of the bodies may be, Adam? Is it like next room over?
Well, one room over is where you defeated some of them, and then a couple more rooms over, you defeated more of them. So they're kind of littered all over this first floor and on the second floor as well.
Yeah, let me go over to the closest room, and I'll just kind of peek out and see what I see before I take any action.
Okay, so to try to do this a little bit quickly, I'm going to assume you kind of make your way down here, which will allow you access to that larger room, and I assume you're trying to be very cautious, and you said look around, so go ahead and throw me a blind skill check for perception. All seems to be quiet here, so then you're going to pop to the other side, find yourself in that main room, see no obvious threats, but you do see several corpses of ghouls that you've killed here, and then through the doorway to your east, and more towards the south as well.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and in this room here try to see what I can salvage to see if I can put together some makeshift second pair of boots for me.
Okay, and you're just trying to find one set at this point?
Well, yeah, that would be my primary, see if I can get one to fit, and if there's others, maybe I'll try to, if I can do it kind of quick enough, see if I can grab some others for some other folks, so...
Okay, go ahead and throw me a skill check, and then for everybody else, Roll20's been having some issues recently. So one of these issues is known as phantom tokens. So if a token suddenly pops in, that's why. Don't pay it no mind. I will try to make sure if I see that to point it out so you don't react to it.
We have a bunch of undead, and you're talking to us about phantom tokens just popping in, Adam. Yeah, good combination.
It's a good time for that kind of bug, isn't it?
I can't tell if that was sarcasm or not.
Yeah, so as you spend a bit of time here, Kurtu, looking around the different bodies, surprisingly, maybe luck is on your side with this, as it seems most of them were wearing boots, so you can get probably a good 7 pairs of boots here and various stages of quality.
Outstanding. I'm going to get them to try to see if we can help my friends.
All right, you spend a little bit of time pulling off these 14 boots, 7 pairs, and holding them all together in a big bundle in your arms.
And I am skedaddling like the kobold I am up to see the other room.
All right, you make your way back through, sliding through again, and find yourself back towards your companions.
Hey guys, I found some boots. Maybe we can get people to wear these. I mean, it's not perfect, but I mean, 2 pairs is better than 1 in this case.
Sure. I'll give it a try.
And just remember, I mean, some of them, let's just say they weren't empty when I got them. But, you know, I mean, beggars can't be I mean, we do what we can.
I assumed as much.
Yeah, they weren't on a shoe rack or, at a, or anything like that. I mean, they came from dead bodies, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I remember those. They look like the ones that those ghouls were wearing earlier.
Yep. Well, we gotta do what we gotta do. So,
Absolutely.
All right, Adam, I'm going to do my best to see if I can find a pair that will fit over the boots I currently have.
Okay, yes, I would say you do. Based on your previous roll, there is one pair that looks to be a bit larger that you think could be sort of like overwear of your current boots.
double the protection. This is awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, can I find some that fit around mine? And
Yeah, based on his roll, I would say you can find a pair that would fit around yours as well. Again, it's a little bit more bulky. Your feet are obviously going to feel heavier at this point. No necessarily mechanical effects at this point, but just keep in mind that it would be a little bit heavier on your feet.
cool.
What the DM's trying to say is my first roll was a good one this session.
All right, so having gotten a second pair of boots for each of you, and I imagine the rest of the team sort of looks through, most of them, especially like Gorlami, his feet probably are pretty large. Unlikely to find a pair of these boots that would fit over the current boots. But for Finn and Miza, I would say that's fairly easy as they have small feet. So as you kind of point out what your intention here is, they do so and they put on a second layer. So that's probably about as best you can do with the equipment you've found so far. Is there anything in particular you're doing other than waiting at this point?
Maybe, I have a cloak, so I guess maybe I don't need another cloak. So,
And Adam, the area over here to our direct west, right? I can't remember. Is that part where we can see? Basically, I want to see if we can look out the window and see where the Portcullis is.
Yes, so if you go south and to your west, the Portcullis is just to your northwest.
All right, I'm going to peek through there to see on this side to see if that ugly creature that was there before is still here.
Okay, so you want to slip through to get to the other side, and you're able to do so, again, outside of combat, not particularly challenging. Once you get here and look north, you can see the Portcullis is still down, though you do notice that where the hole is, there's enough space that some of the bars of the Portcullis, where they meet the sort of bottom ribbon of the Portcullis, you might think of it as, aren't fully on the ground. There's like a gap there where the hole is.
All right, yeah, thanks. I forgot he even burrowed, so thanks.
So what do you think? Do you think we should try to make a run for it? Now, I don't want to stay in here any longer. I think we gotta go.
I do agree. We need to leave.
Let's see. Finn agrees with us. Bryn agrees with us. Miza agrees with us. Oh, good. We're all in agreement.
How did we get Gorlami down here? With Bryn picked him up, right?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Do you think I could hold Cat?
Yes, but you would be obviously like a heavy load. Think of it as you have a whole body over your shoulders, so you'd be moving slower, and you wouldn't necessarily be able to react quickly to things.
Okay. Oh, I just don't want to. I just don't want to leave corpse here.
No, we don't want to have them become undead. And Kat was my friend, so we need to make sure that she gets buried properly.
Exactly. So we hightailing it out of here, Gertu?
Yeah, I think we have to. I think we need to figure out first who goes first. Because, I haven't been hurt as much, but, I hate to go first, but I guess I can. And then I can squeeze out and then squeeze back in if I check the corner, there's, we need to squeeze back in if and then it's fearful,
Yeah, yeah. My vote, Finn.
All right, there's something I need to do though.
Adam, on this one here, I'm going to take out the bolt. I don't trust it.
Actually, I believe you guys already removed that one, so it is currently
All right.
unloaded.
Oh, that's good. That's good, because I'm just saying I've seen some strange things go on here.
All right, Adam, I'm going to peek out my head and kind of look to the right, look to the west, kind of make sure it looks safe, and to include not raining right now.
It is not raining right now, no.
And I'm going to go stealth over here to look around the corner.
All right, as you get to right about there, Kurtu, you can see the ground to your north now is certainly slick, and it has this sort of strange, almost like jello consistency on the top. It's very thin, but it's obviously prominent. You can certainly see it.
Does there look to be, I don't know how to describe it, Adam, I'm looking, is there a path that looks more safe, right? What I mean is like maybe a little bit more hilly or more rocks we can step on, those type of things.
Give me a blind skill check for survival.
Oh, I've been practicing that one.
No, as you look around, it looks to be pretty well caked and covered in all directions.
Yeah, that means my roll wasn't as good, people, just to let you know. That's what that means.
All right,
So-
and I don't see any baddies though, right?
You do not.
Okay, well, why doesn't somebody come out here and then you can help? Then we can help, take people out maybe who are, we'll just say, sleeping right now.
I think Bren and I can help.
Yeah, Brent decided to come outside with me, Adam. That's what Brent decided.
All right, and you're asked. So remember, she won't be able to fit through this whole area here, so she'll have to go around and then open the portcullis.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's true. Yeah. We won't say she's thick because she's not here. We'll just say she doesn't fit.
So it was like this guy right here that would open the portcullis, right?
Yep, that is the winch.
Okay, so then we can have Finn hold it open, and then once we all get around, he can squeeze through that hole.
Well, as you'll recall, if you winch it, there is sort of a metal bracket that can lock it in place, and then you pull that bracket up to set it back down to the base. So if you raise it and bracket it, it'll just stay up.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, yeah, so in discussion, your team uses this winch to raise the portcullis to the top and brackets it. It is now open.
And I'm getting very cautious because maybe the noise will bring over the creature again. I don't know these things, so.
Oh, I don't remember how to get around. Can you move the party with me here, Adam?
You're real quiet again, Vic.
Sorry. Well, what I said was if you could, do we need to manually walk around or?
Well, if you want to just tell me your plan, we can probably fast track it a bit.
Oh yeah, I just want to go out there with Kurtu.
Okay, so you're wanting to take the path around to the doors, open the doors, and head to the portcullis?
Yeah.
And everybody, I guess, can walk there, so.
Except for Cat.
Okay, yes, and so you're carrying Kat, and then I assume, you're not obviously not leaving Gorlami here, so perhaps Bryn would be carrying Gorlami with some effort?
Was my assumption.
Okay, so with that, you guys arrange to walk around, find yourself back in front of the portcullis, and make your way through to the front. Okay, so other than making your way, I assume you're getting ready to sort of just start walking through this jello-covered ground?
Does it look like it's safe to with our extra layer of protection?
Being that you're not sure what this is, you have no idea. You could certainly try to do some kind of testing if you wish.
I'm gonna dip, like I'm like almost like when you're like testing the water of a pool. I'm just gonna poke it with my toe.
With your booted toe?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just kind of gives a little bit of a splash, but it's more, like I say, more thick than that. So when you first touch it, it almost looks like it quivers like a jello, and then as your foot actually hits it, you do see a little bit of splashes, like the solid parts sort of break up a little bit.
And maybe we should use Cat's rapier to kind of like poke to see how deep it is in some areas. So then that way there, maybe we know we're not just maybe it'll save us. Who knows? I don't know. Or maybe a big giant stick or quarterstaff if someone's got one. I don't know.
And this green liquid is somewhat transparent, so you're not concerned that there's like hidden bodies of water, for example, of this stuff. You can see the ground clearly under it. It's just through this greenish veneer of this gel.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
I was gonna hand Kurtu a javelin.
And I take it. I mean, I'll take it to kind of help out a little bit with making sure I don't slip.
Okay, so it sounds like you guys are going to start making your way away from Axholm.
And Adam, I'm assuming, and obviously I know there's not many party members, but obviously I'm thinking right now to kind of go half speed, cautious, I guess, just to make sure that we don't slip in this stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or at least a little slower, whatever. I don't know if half speed is the right answer, Adam, or anyway, we're going to probably go a little slower to be safer.
Yep, so there's 3 speeds. There's normal, there's slow, and there's fast. So it sounds like you might want to go slow speed.
I do.
Oh yeah, that's a good question. What's the time of day?
It is late. If you guys remember, you left here. You left Phandalin early, made your way to Axholm, and spent a few hours adventuring in Axholm. So it is pretty late in the day at this point.
Okie dokie.
Yeah, we gotta go though. We can't stay here.
All right, and if possible, I can navigate because Ranger.
All right, and I assume your plan is to try to take the most direct path back to Phandalin?
Correct.
Yeah,
All right.
maybe you can find a better path. I mean, I didn't see anything, but you got better eyes, maybe.
All right, as you... Yes, we can.
That's funny.
So we'll make it Aomir, as he is now our leader here, or at least directional person. Okay, so Aomir, as you start directing the group back towards Phandalin, you step away from Axholm, remembering that you are holding onto Cat's body and that Bryn currently is shouldering Gore's pretty heavy weight. So you guys are moving at a fairly slow pace. You start walking through this poisoned ground, is presumably what it is, and you're sort of splashing through. And as you're making some progress getting back to Phandalin, there's a few things I would say you learn pretty quickly. One, there's not really like a slickness to this, so it's not like an ice or you're worried that you're going to fall down. But after traveling through this for a bit of time, it does seem to be seeping into your boots. So even those of you that have a double layer of boots, it's just every time you're kind of stepping into this stuff, it gets a little bit more damp, a little bit more into this cloth material or leather material of your boots. So as you guys are progressing, I would like to get Constitution saving throws from those of you that are conscious.
That's fun.
All right, so let's see, Aomir, Kurtu, and Maiza. For right now, I'm going to assume Bryn and Finn are sort of in the back, and exactly what's occurring to them might not be particularly important. But for the 3 of you, you each start to feel quite ill. Kurtu, you recognize this as clearly being the same illness that you had before when this rain hit upon you. You realize, however, that obviously this layers of boots offered some protection because when the rain hit you back in Axholm, it was pretty instant that you were affected by this poison condition. Whereas now you've probably walked through this ground covered with this poisonous water for a good 10 minutes or so before it seemed like this occurred. Do you guys wish to push on?
Oh, yeah, we don't have a camping ground here, Adam. We gotta move forward.
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't necessarily need to roll survival here as far as directions, because you guys have gone this way a few times. I would say you have a pretty good idea of where you're headed. However, after you travel for a bit of time, this constant exposure to this liquid is really starting to get to you, and I will need another Constitution saving throw from the three of you. Okay, this time, Eomir, you can really feel this starting to get to you. Your sickness is increasing in severity. You're actually starting to cough. Kurtu, as you look towards Eomir, you can see his skin is like getting this slight tint of a greenish liquid. Hearing nothing there, I will assume you guys continue moving on.
While we're moving on, could we also try to find some shelter? I mean, maybe there's something around that we could kind of like wait it out and maybe all the green stuff go into the ground further. I don't know.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, actually.
Okay, so it sounds like you want to sort of divert from your current course and do more of like a circular scan around the area, looking for perhaps a cave or anything that would serve as a shelter?
Yeah, let's do that, I think. This is dangerous.
Okay, if that's the case, then Eomir, as you're looking for this, go ahead and give me another blind check to see your results of what you can find. So you spend a good 10 minutes or so circling around this area, and Eomir, you suffer 1 point of poison damage from your exposure to this. At the same time, Kurtu, I will need you to make another Constitution save. And Kurtu, you also get to the point where you're feeling very ill now, and your scales are starting to take on this greenish hue. You are able, however, Eomir, and you're searching around here to find, it's not necessarily shelter, but there's an area where these hills sort of rise and there's a small copse of trees. It looks to have perhaps less of this greenish liquid than other areas.
How bad, like you said, less, but like how saturated is the ground?
So it's higher in elevation, so the impression you're getting is as this greenish liquid hit, like most, typical water, it runs downhill before it turned into this green jelly or gel. So near the top, it's more like splotchy, you could think of it as, where there's open areas, and then there's some areas that are a little bit covered, but it's nothing like it is on the more flat ground or lower lying ground.
Okay.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good enough to me, though.
Same thing. I think.
I mean, bad is just not horribly bad. That doesn't mean it's good.
I think pressing forward might be the best option.
All right, so I'm hearing press forward. So as you guys press forward, keeping in mind it's about a day's journey back to Phandalin, right? So it's a bit of an effort here. So as you're making your way a full hex, you're walking for quite some time. During this time, Eomir, you're going to suffer an additional 6 points of damage. So you're realizing after about every 10 minutes or so, you're suffering a point of poison damage. Kurtu, same with you now that you have gotten this illness. And so far, Misa looks to be fighting this off.
Okay.
All right. So how many points of damage have I taken so far? I didn't take any for the first one, Adam.
Just 6, where Eomir took 7.
Okay.
Okay. So we're close to Umbridge Hill at this point.
You are.
I don't remember if that was safe or not.
Does Kurtu remember?
Kurtu doesn't remember that. No, sorry. But I think we still need to find some place. I think, wasn't there like a house or something like that there? Maybe, maybe we can go ahead and see.
Okay, I remember Umbridge Hill. Let's go to Aomir doesn't remember.
I think there was a house, but I can't remember.
I think there was a windmill.
Okay, so it sounds like you want to head in that direction looking for the windmill?
Yeah, I think we need to try to.
Mm-hmm.
All right, as you guys continue making your way, it's right about this time, Gorlami, that suddenly you become conscious with 1 HP. So you can feel this sort of swaying of your body as you're being carried, and you sort of grunt, and you notice Bryn kind of looks up at you and says, to the rest of the team, letting you know that Gorlami is now awake, and she kind of just puts you on your feet, and you can see her kind of start massaging her shoulder as all this dragging or pulling has obviously been quite stressful on her.
Thank you, Bryn. Where are we? What? I'm about to die.
I know, and Gore, I tell you, we're all not doing good right now. Let me just tell you, I'm not feeling good. I think I've got the COVID thing. I mean, it's horrible, and I don't have any masks, so we're trying to find shelter. We need to find some shelter.
Well, if I can just catch my breath for a little bit, I think I could help out a lot more. Well, where are we, Elf? Are we close to anything?
If I recall correctly, there's a windmill around here where we can set up shop and hopefully wait this out. And you see his eyes kind of like blinking in and out very slowly, and green face. I am feeling a little under the weather right now.
I kind of grab you by the throat and I look up at your chin and jaw and I say, I cannot find this place, but you're an elf. I hear you guys can find anything. And you feel yourself get a little bit stronger, about 5 HP worth, as I use healing word. I GM'd rolled it on accident. I was still on it for my death saves.
Yeah, that's a lot better. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Control yourself, Elf. We've got just a little bit further. Find it. And I'll take Cat off of your back if you're still carrying her, and I'll throw her on my back.
Okay. Sounds good.
Off,
a little break, that'll
you.
help.
Yeah, off with you. Go on.
All right, so it sounds like it's you guys' plan to continue looking for this potential windmill.
Correct.
Yep.
All right, as you guys continue making your way looking for this windmill, Gorlami, go ahead and throw a Constitution saving throw as you are now exposed to this greenish gel on the ground.
Here we go. Huzzah!
But it's at advantage because he has our boots on.
Unfortunately not, but as you're stepping through this greenish liquid, you start to feel quite ill after a brief period of time, just sort of stomping through here. The rest of you guys, as you're making your way through, you've been in this greenish liquid for quite some time now. You can feel that this poison condition is getting worse. You essentially have the poison condition, and now after every 10 minutes you're suffering 2 points of damage. So as you continue looking for this hill, Gorlami, you would suffer 1 point of damage in this time, but Kurtu and Eomir, you're going to suffer 2 points of damage as you find yourselves at the base of the hill of Umbridge Hill. Okay, so as Gorlami gets affected by this poison and eventually collapses to the ground, Now we've got Eomir standing, Kurtu standing, and the rest of the team not looking particularly good.
Well, he was helpful for like 10 feet or something like that. I mean, you know, we'll have to tell him later on. He needs to step it up a little bit more next time he wakes up.
Do we see the windmill?
You can see the base of the hill a distance off, and yes, the windmill sitting on top of it.
We have to keep on going forward.
All right, so if you're going to continue going forward, give me an idea of how you're accomplishing that.
Same deal as before. How far off is it?
Probably a good 200 to 300 yards or so.
Okay. I vote that we move to fast pace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll try to fast pace it, but I mean, you'll have to pick him up again, right?
Well, I'll have to pick Cat up.
Yeah.
Bryn can hold Gorlami.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to be able to hold Gorlami.
Okay, and for our other characters, while I was hoping to try to put this off until they would be able to roll this themselves, I don't think it's going to work out that way because it might be really important. So I'm going to go ahead and do a quick couple of summary rolls for our characters that are not here. Okay, so Bryn is not looking well at all by the time you guys are to the base of the hill. She's looking very bad and perhaps getting ready to drop as well. And then for Finn, as you guys get to the base of the hill, you see Finn collapses as well. So remaining standing is... Oh, let me do Mises real quick. So remaining standing is Eomir and Kurtu. The rest of the team is down. I did her a couple at the very beginning, but not to represent the long travel overland. Alright, so Kurtu and Eomir, as you guys stand here with the rest of the team on the ground having collapsed due to this poison, you're looking at the hill. What would you like to do?
I think, I hate to say it, but maybe we should run up there and see if we can get some help. I mean, take who we can, and I don't know what other options we have.
So both Finn and Bryn are down now?
Bryn is still up, but she's looking very bad.
Okay. Wow. Miza's down?
Miza is down, yes.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
I can try to pick one of them up, and I don't even know if I could carry him. I guess maybe I could, whoever's the lightest one. But I mean, I think we should try to bring him. I can try to bring Finn up. I don't think we have any other options. I mean, we can't just sit here. So I think that's still our only option. I can't think of a non-option. I mean, heck if I know what to do. So.
Okay. So you're gonna hear Eomir kind of just, I'm so sorry, Cat. I'll come back to you and give you a burial. I'm gonna drop Cat and grab Miza.
Okay, so Eomir, you grab Miza. Kurtu, you're grabbing Finn.
Yes.
All right, and Bryn will attempt to once again heft Eomir up on her shoulder, or I'm sorry, not Eomir, Gore up on her shoulders and start making the trek up the hill.
And I think we came to like the general consensus that we're going to be moving fast paced. So like, hopefully if we drop in the windmill, not out here in the open.
Well, in this bit of time it takes you to ascend the hill, you notice after you get up maybe 20 feet, 30 feet, that greenness is starting to get much less and less. And as you keep climbing up this hill, there's less and less of these green areas, as it seems much of this rain has, of course, run downhill. So by the time you get to the top of the windmill, it's more or less just a smattering of areas around the windmill grounds that are covered in this green, and there's several areas that you would consider safe.
Okay.
Yeah, and Adam, I'm going to have to take it for the safe areas. I'm going to be taking off my boots and putting my boots in a non-safe area. I don't know. I'm just going to take my boots off right now. I don't want to be standing in the muck.
Okay, fair enough. So you try to find one of those areas of safety, which you're able to do so, and kick off your soiled boots off of your body so as to not to be exposed any longer.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Hey, Adam, is this where we found the Manicore? Just kind of going off memory here.
It is, yes.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
I'm just trying to put my mind into where we are.
Yeah, I remembered that. There should be, well, like, Eomir doesn't know, but there should be some lady there that might be able to help us out.
All right, so you guys are up in this area of safety around the sort of ruins of the windmill. And yes, as you approach and you're obviously making a bit of a racket, you can see a woman pop her head out of the doorway after she opens the door, and she kind of looks down towards you with this like raised eyebrow of curiosity.
Hi, I don't know if you remember us, but my friends and I, we got caught in the green rain, and it's like poison and everything, and we're not doing so good, and we don't know where else to go, and we're hoping you can help us.
You see she kind of looks down towards you with a little bit of like blinking eyes, and as she does so, she says, "Yes, I suppose that poisonous rain is quite bad. Come in, I suppose. Come in."
We're gonna keep our boots off here so we don't bring in a whole bunch of green puddles or something.
Yes, that is wise.
And Adam, I'm gonna drop my cloak as well. So whatever.
All right,
well,
yeah.
it actually wouldn't have any on it because it wasn't raining. But anyway, yeah.
Probably from honestly just stepping around and splashing, it might have like right at the bottom, but yeah, you don't think it's going to cause you too much trouble.
Okay, cool.
All right, so I assume you guys are going to start making your way inside the windmill, and as you do so, you'll notice that Bryn also collapses at this point, overcome from the fatigue and the effects of the poison. So as Bryn, Maiza, and Finn are all down, as is Gorlami. So Gorlami is drug inside, but several members of the team are indeed down. As you enter this area, you do notice in the northeast corner is a gruff-looking dwarf.
Hey, are you, by chance, are you, Gore's friend?
You see he's like sitting in this chair that's kind of bunked up against the back wall, and as you say this, the slight movement of the chair stops for a moment as he gets this like heft as he pulls himself off of the chair and looks down towards you, and you see kind of like grabs at his long beard here and begins to twiddle the hairs.
He said he was looking for a dwarf, and you're a dwarf, and I don't know. I mean, all the dwarfs, you may not even know the other dwarf. I don't remember the other person's name, but our new friend Gore here was looking for a dwarf.
You see he steps down quietly as he looks towards the woman, and he gives her like a nod, and you see he nods his head towards Gore as though he's almost completely ignoring you here, Kurtu. And you see she turns back to him, and she nods once again to him, and she looks back and she says, "Yes, Just give us a moment. Go ahead. And you see she steps back behind him, and you see he steps forward and gives you this kind of look, Kurtu, at the corner of his eye, just the most brief of analysis of your form before he sort of takes a knee in front of Gorlami. With this, you see he pulls out this satchel from his side and starts pulling out these bits of green, and you can see that there's kind of like this amber sapish material as well, that he rubs this all together, and he starts rubbing it on Gorlami's face really roughly. In fact, it looks kind of odd, but it seems to go on his face pretty carefully, at which point in time, Gorlami, you are restored for 4 hit points.
This smells like shit. Ugh.
You notice Kadash looking down at your face here, Gorlami, as he has this stern expression, and as he sees you come conscious, you see he nods. I wasn't sure you were going to make it. Welcome back to the land of the living, my friend.
Kadash?
Yes. Your eyes do not look so well. Perhaps you cannot see much yet. Seems as though you found quite curious companions in my absence.
They were held up in that old dwarven settlement. Looks like a few of them got hurt.
That is where you went. Well, unfortunately, it does not seem as though Timora's luck shined down upon us, for I was in front of that area, but was concerned that perhaps you would not have headed on side, as it looked quite dangerous. Had I come in, perhaps I could have aided you earlier.
It's all behind us, Kadash. I'm glad to see you're safe, and thank you.
Yes, it is my pleasure to assist you, but it looks like some of your allies are worse for wear. No worry, I'm sure Adabra here could aid them in time, but I imagine they will be out of commission for a bit of time at least.
Anyone understand what's going on with that green rain? I mean, that stuff is poisonous.
Have I ever, back in where Gore grew up, he grew up in a noble family, so he read a lot, so he's okay at history. I mean, he's proficient, but in his mind, he's okay at it. Would he have ever read any stories about poisonous rain or anything?
I mean, that's certainly possible, but to try to draw a conclusion between something you've read and this would take more, I would say, knowledge and more experience about maybe what is going on here to determine what this is. So yeah, you might have heard strange stories about this, but you're not piecing anything together like, oh, this is clearly X.
Fair enough. Do I think it's a religious omen of any kind?
I mean, I guess it depends on how much Gorlami puts into religious omens. Does he look and see, everything that happens as being a manifestation of the God's will? If so, then perhaps. But if not, this might just be some kind of arcane conflux. As you know, obviously, that there is some kind of magical impact of this. It's clearly not a just natural rain.
Well, Gorlami doesn't outwardly boast any kind of... he doesn't say, to the divine with you or anything like that, but ever since he was little, Moradin has really shown him pretty much everything about being a dwarf, so he really trusts anything that, the divine Moradin, in his eyes, would show him, so he would believe whatever, religious circumstances.
You could certainly pray on it and see if you get any kind of an omen or some type of a message or something like that from Moradin, like they would send some kind of vision to your head or something. But yeah, just on a glance and what you've occurred so far, I would say nothing jumps out to you as of significance.
Okay, all right. That probably will be what he does, though. He'll collect himself and reshift so he's upwards, and he'll also take his boots off after seeing everybody else do it, and he'll begin to just kind of find him a nice little spot and try to pray for a little bit.
All right, yeah, so as you try to find an area here, I mean, it's obviously not set up for a bunch of people to be sleeping here, but there is room and there's an upper level as well as where there's some cots and things. So you think overall you might be able to find some areas that makes it a bit more comfortable. Kadash does seem to sort of follow you around, and As he sees you drop for prayer, you see he just kind of returns to that chair that he was originally sitting in and just kind of waits momentarily. For the rest of the team, Adabra is looking over Finn, Misa, and Bryn, and after she does a sort of brief examination of them, you hear her go tss, 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 and she turns to you, the rest of you, and she says, "I'm sorry to say, but it looks like these three are not going to be conscious for quite some time. Their bodies are still trying to fight the poison. I have some alchemical ingredients here, some medicines that might be of assistance, but I have a feeling it is not going to aid them and get them on their feet anytime soon."
Just as long as it saves their life.
Do you mind if we stay here the night and try to sleep some of it off?
You notice she looks at you and kind of like almost like narrows an eye for a moment. You get this impression of kind of like appraising you, and then it's almost as though like a wind hits her. There's this like sudden just change in her outward appearance, and she nods and says, yes, of course, that would be just fine.
Thank you.
So Adam, I'm gonna find some spot where I can just kind of roll up and, because I think you said it was kind of late with all this time and everything, and with everything, I think I'm just gonna crash no matter what time it is.
It is, yes, it is indeed late at night.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow Kurtu on that.
I think I'll spend about an hour in prayer and very slow movements trying to regain my strength and see if I can seek some little bit of divine reckoning on what the hell this rain is.
All right, yeah, so as you guys try to relax and recover here, an hour will pass. Gorlami, you can take a short rest here, so you can recover all of your HP. The rest of you, unfortunately, do not have a short rest to spend, so you're sort of just relaxing, resting here inside of the windmill, as Adabra is trying to do what she can for your companions that are still unconscious due to this poison. Gorlami, go ahead and throw a blind religion check as you spent this hour in prayerful insight looking for any kind of information from the divine. You get sort of perhaps a strange vibe that the poisonous rain is obviously dangerous, and perhaps there's something more to it, something against the divine perhaps, but there's not more clarity to be found in your prayers at this time.
I'll advance back down and I'll walk over to Kadash and I'll say, when I woke from sleeping that night, you weren't there. I was worried you were dead. That's why I went into that Axon place. I thought maybe something had gotten you, or I don't know.
You see he nods and says, "Yes, on further reflection, it was not very smart course of action, I'm afraid, but, well, I had to take a leak, so I just stepped off a bit and did so. When I did, however, I saw some orcs coming up behind me. They were between myself and you. I thought my two options were to shout loudly and hopefully you would rouse and we would fight them like we fought the others, but there were several of them and they had spotted me as well. So I thought perhaps it would be more wise to try to lead them away. That is what I did, going down the mountainside as best as I could, trying to find tracks and things that they were not able to traverse as easily. Surprisingly, even though they are such aggressive combatants and followed after as quickly as they could, I was able to find ways to divert their gaze upon me and get distance from them. By the time I had finally lost them and tried to make my way back, I'm afraid to say it was not easy to find you. I had to retrace many of my steps to avoid them and find a path back to you. By the time I made my way back to where our camp was, you were no longer there."
So I'm gonna kind of like look down and like shake my head and say, yes, a miscommunication, or understanding rather, but either way, it seems you've saved my life twice. So I thank you. And I'll put out my forearm.
He will brace it with his forearm.
Moradin did not give me any insight to this rain. I'm glad to see that you made it inside. if you don't mind, I am going to check on them. They're friends of mine now, I suppose.
If I could trouble for you for just one more moment. My mission here was to take you into the area looking for, well, your quarry. I'm afraid things have obviously changed at this point with this terrible rain. I'm afraid for what has occurred back in Neverwinter. Do you still have need of me, or could I start making my way back?
Your services were well-winded, and I believe these folks have same intentions as I, so you can make your way back. Here, take this. And I'm gonna pull out from my bag at him the gem worth 10 gold pieces that I have, and I'm gonna hand it to him and say, for your troubles and for saving my life.
You see he gives you a hearty nod as you hand him this gem. You see he holds it up to the light and analyzes it quickly and says, this is quite a beautiful gift. I appreciate it and accept it in the spirit that it was given. I hope you will find the greatest fortune here in what it is that you are looking for, Gorlami. And if you find yourself back in Neverwinter, please look me up. I won't leave quite yet. It is late now, but perhaps sometime tomorrow morning. In the meantime, if there's any stories you wish to share, or there's anything I can do for you, you can find me upstairs. This human woman, Dadabra, has been more than accommodating. She's quite friendly.
Well, Hail Moradin, and thank you. And then I'll bow and I'll walk around the corner here.
And you see this really heavy crossbow that you've seen him use before. It's kind of a special creation, not necessarily of his, but he comes from this guild that you're somewhat familiar with in the story he's told you during your travels. And you know it's a sort of a specially created crossbow. And you see he kind of just slings it over his back and takes care to really pin it down to make sure it won't bounce about as he then steps to this ladder and ascends to the second floor.
Maybe you should tell him about the Dwarven Fortress and that what happened. You know, he's a dwarf. Maybe he has friends who used to live there.
Maybe. He said he'll be around for a little bit longer, and I might talk to him then, but for now, I want to make sure everyone else is okay. I can't thank you guys enough for getting me here.
I'm just glad you were able to help, you know. I mean, it's a horrible place down there.
Yes, it was.
I think we're gonna have to go back to clean it up even more, but right now we need our friends. So what's gonna, you know, these guys, they're gonna be sleeping for a while, I think. So, you know, we'll have to decide what we're gonna do. Maybe we go back to Phandalin. I don't know. Maybe they got news on what's going on with the Green Rain. I don't know.
We should at least go and make sure the townsfolk are okay. Get everybody a nice warm meal and bed, a nice rest, and then I think deciding on what to do then is the best course of action.
Alright, so it sounds like you guys would like to try to rest here through the night, wake up in the morning, and make your way back to Phandalin?
What do you think, guys?
That's all I can think of right now. We need to go see what happened to the city and let them know that not to go into the Dwarven caves yet, that it's not safe yet.
Now, this area here, if we rested here, would that constitute a long rest?
This is considered a safe area, so yes.
I think I know what I want to do.
Well, let's get everybody a nice, long, restful night. And
No! Just kidding.
I actually think maybe the sun might be able to help us with the puddles and the jelly.
All right, so I will assume you guys take Adabra up on her hospitality here, rest throughout the night, and find that this rest is fairly uneventful. It's obviously always uncomfortable sleeping in a place that you're not really familiar with, but luckily you guys managed to get this rest in through the night, sleeping in these little cots that are given to you guys for your use over the night, and find that this is very relaxing. As you wake up in the morning and make your way back downstairs, you find that Finn, Misa, and Bryn unfortunately are still unconscious, and Adabra looks quite tired as she is sort of still waiting over them, sipping on a cup of tea here. Long story short, she explains to you that it would be wise to leave the three of them here to recuperate, and you should continue on your way, but once they become conscious, she will fill them in on what has occurred here and send them back to you.
I see what you did there.
You like that?
Yep.
All right, group. So you notice that eventually Kadash will come from upstairs down again as well. It looks like he is making preparations to leave. If you explain to him that you guys are making your way back to Phandalin, he says he's heading that way as well before he heads back to Neverwinter, as it's on the way. So he'd be happy to accompany you if you like.
Cool.
I think that's the idea, right?
Yep.
Oh, yes. And it gives us plenty of time that we can tell him about the Dwarven place there and let him know.
All right, group. So is it safe to say after recovering, eating some rations, eating some food perhaps that Adabra's provided you, filling up water skins from these water barrels that she has available, you guys will set on your way back to Phandalin?
Yeah, I do want to see if Kat's body is still out there.
It is, yes, it is. Oddly enough, as you make your way out, you can see, much like Gorlami supposed, with the sun up in the morning here and the rays striking down upon the ground, it does seem to assist here in really drying out the ground. It's taking some time, so it's not an instant process, but after you're waiting here for a couple of hours in the morning, it does seem to be moving pretty quickly. The odd part is it seems like there are certain areas that are still have this greenish tint to them, even with the sun beating down, but there's no longer this like deep wetness or this green gel on the ground any longer. As you start making your way off to the hill and look down, you can see Kat's body down there, but oddly enough, it looks like it is covered in this green gel, which is strange because obviously when you dropped her, she wasn't covered in this green gel, so it almost seems as though sometime through the night, either she was splashed or something other unexplained has occurred here.
Oh, if you give me a moment, Eamir, I can... I asked for a little help last night, and I think I have a new ability I can use to see if I can identify this. So we should check the area, make sure there's no footprints or anything like that maliciously, and I need about 10 minutes.
That's fine. I would like to get her a proper burial.
Maybe a proper burial's right here. I mean, maybe it's not in town. I mean, ground is ground.
Don't move her body until I'm done. Give me just a moment. And then I'm just gonna begin to ritually cast Detect Poison and Disease.
Okay, yeah, so after 10 minutes or so, this spell does go off. As you eye around the ground, these areas that are tinted green certainly do detect as poison. And as you walk a bit closer and get within 30 feet of Kat's body, avoiding any areas that are green, you can see her body detects as poison as well.
It also says that I can identify that kind of poison, so can I spend a minute kind of studying over her and see if I can identify it?
This is a fiendish poison that you are not particularly familiar with, but you can tell that it is associated with the 9 hells.
That's why Moradin could not help me identify it last night. It's not of this world's creation. It's a poison from furnace. And further down, maybe.
Oh, yes. But now we'll be able to, years from now, we'll be able to tell people how we lived through it. A fiendish hell of poisons.
Well, does anybody have a vial or something for me to scoop some of this into? Probably Finn, right?
Finn has that stuff, yeah. And he won't say no right now.
I'm sure he'll also probably want me to collect some for him to study. Let me run back up to the windmill and grab some vials from him. Give me just a moment.
Alright, so your intent here is to try to scrape some of the gel from Cat's body into a vial that you're getting from Finn?
No, not me. I'm going to hand it to Kurtu and tell him to use his magic hand thing. And I'm going to, like you hold the vial, and then I'm going to use, like, a longer stick. I don't want to get anywhere near touching it, and I just want to scrape it into the vial as far away as possible.
I can do that. But I'm not going to be close to it either. I'm talking 20 feet away or so.
I'll be sure to point out the areas that don't have the liquid on them so you don't step on them.
Alright, so it sounds like you're trying to do something that requires fine dexterity, if I'm understanding. So you're trying to use the magic hand to, like, scrape this gel from the body?
I think I was just holding it still, but correct me, Dylan, if I'm wrong.
I mean, whatever you think. I think probably scooping it would be better. If it's like a jelly, then you should be able to kind of like loop. What do you think?
Well, but then it'll be on the outside of the jar, so if you're up for taking that risk, that's your risk to take.
That's valid. Well, I'll try to get a stick and see if I can, like, slowly scrape it in, I suppose, but I don't want to touch it.
Alright, as you grab a stick and make your way down towards the body, you take the stick and you start scraping on this gel that is on Cat's body, but it does not seem to break apart, not like what you saw when you were walking through the water with your boots slamming into it and sort of breaking apart. It does not seem to. It just kind of wobbles as you're pushing on it. As you try to pierce the gel with this stick, it does not pierce.
That's disconcerting. Looks like somebody's gonna have to grab it. Kurtu. Short straw. You got it.
Finn's oven mitts.
I'm not that interested in it. No, thank you. If you want it, you risk it. These hands weren't made for burning. These are my magic hands.
Well, maybe we at least get Cat's body back up to the windmill.
You know what? Let's be honest. It's got all kind of goo on it. What are you gonna do with it right now?
Well,
Yeah, and I don't think anybody here has tools for digging at the moment, do we?
no, not necessarily, but I mean, the thing with all poison is that most antidotes are created from said poison. At least that's what I've always been told.
And that might be true. I just don't want to go near it. And I hate saying this, but maybe we need to leave Cat there right now if the goo's all over her. How are you going to... I don't see it. I don't know.
I don't disagree. Maybe we go to Phandalin and let them know and see if somebody has a safe way of moving the body. Not us, though.
Alright, so it sounds like the group is set on leaving the windmill and making their way to Phandalin?
Yeah, and also letting them know that unfortunately we feel that we need to leave Cat's body down there. I'm not dragging it anywhere with all the goop on it.
Okay, you let Adabra know that, and she understands what you're saying, and she says she's also not going to approach it because she's concerned about this greenish liquid as well. The thought is raised about would it make sense to just try to build a pyre around her and burn her, or is that not something she would like?
I was actually looking at my spells and stuff to see if that would make sense, but I don't want to use a spell on that. But yeah, I think that would be the best.
All right, so if you guys are okay with that, Adabra says she can take care of that. So she's got some straw and wood and all that. And she can just sort of set up a pyre and burn the corpse and hopefully perform sort of cremation here at the hill.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, Kat and I talked about it one day. If we were to go, she said she would like to be burned. She also enjoys fire. So let's just do that.
That works. That's fine.
And I don't know if Kat really feels that, but that's the lie I'm saying, to make sure we just take care of it.
All right, so
I don't think it really matters. Kat's dead as shit. She's not going to argue.
That's right.
So with Adabra agreeing to take care of this task, the rest of you would like to set on your way to Phandalin?
Let's go.
I think so.
Alrighty, guys. So you make your way out from the windmill, having rested overnight here, recuperated, recovered from your wounds and long adventuring period of time down there in Axholm. As you start making your way north towards Phandalin, you can see that much of this green, as I've already indicated, has dried up due to the sunlight. As you continue making your way, more and more of it seems to do so. But you still recognize that there are certain patches that really never seem to dry up. Or I shouldn't say dry up, because they don't look wet necessarily. They're just kind of green on the ground. And you're spotting them fairly regularly. So after like walking for a minute, you might see one 100 feet away. Walk another minute, you see another one 50 feet in the other direction. It's just this green tint on the ground in a somewhat circular pattern, always right about the same size. And you can obviously associate this with the greenish of the gel. But as long as you avoid them, nothing seems to occur. As you guys are making your way back towards Phandalin, you can start to hear the sound of perhaps walking off in the distance or scampering, something along those lines. You kind of see some animals off in the distance. These would be kind of like rabbits, sometimes squirrels. You can see that occasionally an animal will like walk into this green thing, maybe not noticing it or not really thinking it's much of an issue. And when the first time this happens, you notice almost immediately it like jumps back. So imagine like a rabbit kind of going towards this green thing and just immediately jumping back and seeming to scamper in the opposite direction. So it seems as though there is some kind of effect if you were to get too close to these green things, but you don't know exactly what it is that would occur. As you guys continue making your way back, noticing these different occurrences off in the distance, you eventually find, as you're walking down this path that leads back to Phandalin, you see off in the distance, maybe about 100 feet or so from you, there seems to be a humanoid figure standing here, and there is a trio of bodies on the ground surrounded with blood.
And this is outside of Phandalin?
You're not quite to Phandalin yet. You're still a few hours from Phandalin.
Oh, okay.
That poison didn't really give off like blood. You know, you didn't like puke blood or anything like that. So I don't think these folks were killed by that.
Well, we could try to walk around them.
I would like to know. I mean, if it's this close to Phandalin and somebody is killing people, we should know, right?
Yeah, and maybe it's the ranger. Who knows? It could be the ranger. But I still say maybe we walk around. I don't know.
Let's go talk to him. We outnumber him, so if, things get dicey, but keep your eyes on the tree line.
You notice from this distance, Kadash raises this heavy crossbow and kind of looks at an area that's right on the crossbeam of the crossbow, and he looks and he says, "It's a lady standing in front of above 3 bodies, it seems."
Yeah, let's go check it out. What do you think, Emir? Yeah?
Let's go.
All right, you guys continue getting closer here and spot this scene to your northeast on your way back to Fandolin.
Okay, I was looking at what my hands are, so I got a bare hand and then a shield while I'm traveling, so that's what I got right now.
Oh, Mando.
I'm gonna get to like right here, and I'm gonna kind of raise my hand and say, hello, well met.
So should I describe myself, or
Yeah,
what's
it's
going
probably
on?
a good first start as
Sure.
the characters look at you and get an idea of what you look like.
So as they are approaching, and it doesn't look like they're trying to be stealthy or anything, because Gorlami's just like walking up and saying, hey, you can see what appears to be a youngish human girl wearing pretty surprisingly elegant white robes that are trimmed and have the insert as like a really deep dark blue coloration to it. It looks very fancy, and she's got a ribbon in her blonde hair. She's kind of small. She's about 4.5 feet tall, maybe a little less. Her hair's a little unkempt, but it's tied up in that ribbon, and she is leaning on a quarterstaff at the moment, looking like she's exerted herself a little bit, but is doing all right. And when I hear him call out to me, I look over to them. I know they mechanically got a long rest in, but do they still look like haggard and muddy and like grimy from their journeys, or are they doing okay?
I would say you probably can recognize them as being travel worn, meaning they've been on the road for a while, but they don't necessarily look haggard or exhausted or anything like that.
Yeah. All right, so she's gonna move over. Hey guys, really careful. This is really dangerous here. I'm not really sure what happened here, but I'm checking around. Whoever did this to these people, they could still be close. So just be really careful. Actually, she points to the elf. You look like you could. You look like you know your way around the wilderness. Can you come here for a sec?
I'm gonna walk up very slowly.
Go on, elf, I got you.
Hey, listen. Look at these bodies, and what can you tell me about them? Just any idea what did this?
Well, they look like dwarves. From the token.
As you look
Adam.
down at these bodies, they do look to be humans, in fact. You can see they are dressed in some common type clothing, wearing some leather armor, look to have scimitars at their sides. If you're trying to determine like how they died or get an idea of that, something like that, go ahead and throw me a blind check for medicine.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask.
It certainly looks like they've been dealt some blunt force type of damage, but hard to say exactly what it is that's killed them.
Looks like they've been bludgeoned to death.
Could be anything. Just keep an eye out on the trees. I'll look into it a little more.
Could be a quarterstaff.
Could be, or some kind of animal. You know, lots of animals like to hit things with their claws or their other limbs, tails. You know.
I don't see any kind of claw marks, bite marks, anything like that. Just looks like bludgeoning.
All right, hang on. So I'll move over here, and then she'll like crouch down. I'm not about to step in any of the poison, am I? There's like nothing around here?
Not in this area, no.
Okay. So she's gonna kneel down, kind of put her hand on the ground, close her eyes, and go, Hang on, I'm reading the wind. And then she'll jump up real quick and be like, shh. Do you guys hear that?
Mm-mm. I didn't hear anything, right, Adam?
No.
So she'll slowly point her hand in this direction over here. Or I guess like over here. Is this like a rocky outcropping over
Yes.
here? Yeah. So she'll point that direction. It's like, sounds like. I think I know. I think I'm getting it. And then very slowly, if they look in the direction she's pointing, does anybody do that?
You know what? I'll bite.
Gorlami does not bite.
I look all over the place, because I don't know.
So as she's pointing in that direction, she'll very slowly turn her finger around and point to her own head. And be like, "Okay, you got me. I killed these people."
Yeah, everybody just bursts out laughing.
That's good. What did they do to you?
Oh, common cut purses, brigands. See a lone little girl wandering around outside of town. Figured they got an easy mark. Didn't work out for them. Underestimated me just like everyone else.
Well, I look over at Eomir and I say, I think I could say we don't underestimate you or anything. Glad to see you're okay.
You too. I heard about that bit of difficult weather we were having. Was it worse where you guys came from? Where are you bound, friends?
Excellent. And it was not a good time.
We're on our way back to Phandalin now. Hopefully to learn more, make sure other folks are okay.
Yeah, sure. You know what? My karma could use some rebalancing. I'll walk you back there.
You'll walk us back, huh?
Yeah, why not? I came out here to check on the rain, the wildlife and such, but sounds like you guys have more experience than that, so I'd be curious to bend your ear while we're going.
What is your name?
Call me Josephine. And she'll do a deep bow.
Golami will claps his fist to his chest real quick and then bow in return and say, Golami Dark Cloud. But you can call me Gore.
Eomir Darkwood, at your service. And I
What
give
about
a
you,
little
Short
bow.
Stack?
And I look behind me at the dwarf, trying to size him up.
Which one of us?
Well, you, of course. It's not every day I meet someone shorter than me.
Oh, I know. You do look a little on the taller side. My name is Kurtu. I'm not like them. I don't have last names and surnames and things. I'm just Kurtu. But I'm a Dragoran. They get that confused sometimes, thinking that that's a dragon. I'm not a dragon. I mean, I'm just a Dragoran. And I'm looking for dragons, though. I'll tell you all about it. I will.
We'll travel with you, Josephine. As you could see, cut purses about, poisonous rain. I fought a couple of griffins the other day. Kodash, she's fine. Come on up.
You notice he lowers this heavy crossbow more towards his side as he looks still towards over Josephine and just gives like a curt nod.
Is this raised, Adam? Like a raised?
It is, yes.
I want to walk around and just kind of stand on the raised part here and just give it a good general look around. I know it's a pretty open area. See if I see any further looking cut purses that look like these folks that attacked Josephine.
Give me a blind perception check. No, as you scan this area looking for anything out of the ordinary or anybody in hiding, you don't see anybody.
And Josephine, just for questions here, what race do you appear to be?
He's human.
Okay, all right.
Can I look over the bodies real quick? Are they armored, knives, scimitars kind of stuff?
They have scimitars and look to be wearing leather armor, though it looks like it's seen better days.
I'll gather up the scimitars and look at Josephine and say, "You want them? Do you want them?"
I'm good. I got my walking stick here. In fact, it's not just a walking stick. She leans in close. it's also a whacking stick. See anyone who tries to mess with me? Whack. Right on the head. That's what did these guys in, as a matter of fact.
I have to say this, sorry for the 10 seconds, but when one of my boys was like 5 years old, he rolled up a wrapping paper and he called it a whacking stick, and I still have it today. I've kept it, and he's like 20 right now, right? So I have kept that whacking stick forever. When you just said whacking stick, it just made me chuckle. So
Whacking stick of her own, yes.
So, if you don't mind me asking, Josephine, what profession would you call yourself? Mechanically, I'm asking what your class is.
Well, Victor, mechanically, Josephine is a monk. But she'll say, I don't really know what you mean. Things come at me, I hit them real good. And that's that.
I understand.
I do the same.
Yeah.
Any coin or anything else on them, Adam? If I give them a good once over.
Does not seem to be any coins in their purses, no.
Okay, I'll just take the scimitars and I'll leave the leather armor.
Don't worry, Gore. I checked too. Joke's on them. They thought they were from my drip, They thought they were getting easy money, but joke's on them. I'm just as broke as they are.
Yeah, I see. Well,
They look even more broken now.
you held yourself together well. With the metal from these weapons, I can make something else. So, thank you.
You're welcome. I definitely intended to do that for you.
Well, let's be on our way.
To Phandalin?
Yeah, we have some other friends that we have to meet up with later, but they're not in Phandalin because they're not doing too well because of all that poison rain. It's horrible.
Well, I wish your friends a speedy recovery then.
Me too. I think they'll be fine next week. I don't know.
To be continued. Dun, dun, dun. All right, groups. It sounds like you take Josephine with you and make your way back to Phandalin then, yes?
It's the intention, I suppose.
All right, you guys continue traveling for another couple of hours as you chat amongst yourselves, avoiding these greenish splotches on the ground, and eventually find yourselves back in Phandalin proper. As you get towards the outskirts of Phandalin, you see that things look much as you left them. It is quite a little bit downtrodden, you might think of it as. The people that are kind of gathered around here still look to be a little under the weather, or just going through maybe some bit of stress from all these recent occurrences and things that they would much rather avoid having occur again. There's still this fear of the dragon hanging over heads for everybody. But you find yourselves on the outskirts of the town and start making your way in, and the DM is totally not fine for time here as he switches out that icon of poor slain cat and replaces it with Aelmir. And yes, then we find ourselves back in Phandalin.
Hey Adam, does it look like it was raining green over here as well?
Yes, great question. As you begin to make your way in, yes, you certainly spot different areas of green on the ground, some actually on the buildings where the rain obviously has come down. It seems as though as you're kind of making your way into town, there's people kind of eyeing these spots from a safe distance, and you can see little clusters of people kind of chatting with one another.
I hope everyone's okay.
And also, just for catch-up kind of thing, I'm sure that while we were walking, we would have told Josephine, some of our history of what's been going on. So.
Fair enough. Yeah, if there's anything specific you want to make sure she knows, you can point that out, but we can assume just general kind of update of past events.
Yeah, and in case we all die, she should know that our friends are at the Windmill. You never know who's going to live through the day. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Never heard a truer statement.
All right, so as you guys arrive back in town here, I assume you're probably going to want to make your ways to, for example, the Stonehill Inn to check in there and see what has occurred, or is there somewhere else that you would like to visit in town first?
First, Adam, real quick, does my traveler's clothes, does that come with like a cowl or a hood or anything with it?
If you wanted to, sure.
Yeah, I'll say it will. And I'll go ahead and don my hood a little bit and kind of pull it up a little bit just to give myself a little bit of shield to my face.
Trying to obscure your orcness?
Yeah, I mean, like, I know that they're intimidated and been scared of the orcs, so I don't want to, like, just boldly orc my way through town.
All right, makes sense.
Okay, so I know Aemir wants to, at some point, make a trip to Lion Shield Coster.
We should go to that town master you guys told me about. Maybe he has some more things for us to help out with.
Well, yeah, and we need to let him know what's going on.
How is like when we're looking around, like, does it seem like some of these buildings that once had like people in them, like, are they? I don't know. Do they look like there's corpses laying around or anything like that?
No, you don't see corpses, no.
Okay. Yeah, we should hit the town master's hall first.
Lead the way. I've never been to Fendelin. I walked past it.
Yep.
Kadash and I did, at least.
And I lead them right here, and I'm just gonna make sure to hide your face, Golami.
You hide your face, elf.
Knock on the door.
All right, and that's to the Lion Shield Coster?
Oh no, that's the town master's hall.
Oh, I'm sorry, Town Master's Hall. So you knock on the door here, and this is where you guys have met the Town Master in the past, and you can see that little slot opens in the door after maybe 20 seconds or so, and you see this pair of eyes suddenly staring through. Yes, what?
Well, we've returned with information regarding Axholm.
Return... Oh,
We didn't get this. We didn't get this from you, did we? These orders to check out Axholm.
No, that's why I was confused. What are you talking about?
Yes, never mind. Listen. With this acid or this rain, have you heard of any casualties from this?
In town? No, not that I know of.
Oh, I forgot you're a hermit. And I'm just gonna walk away.
What has been going on? We've been gone for a couple days. Any new news for you to share with us?
Check in at the inn. That's where news is. I just handle the board stuff.
Any new board stuff, or we can check. I just want to know. You got all the good information.
And you hear as he kind of like slides his face a little bit closer to the slot. Yes, but check in at the inn, because the next job's there, actually.
Okay, well, we'll be back. Thank you. You're always a great help.
You notice his eyes kind of
big
narrow.
Scary dragons.
His eyes kind of narrow a little bit towards you, Kurtu, as he's kind of like trying to see whether or not you're serious before you hear whoosh, and he slides this little slot closed.
Sorry, I just had to roll for fun.
You gotta butter him up a little bit.
Yeah, I forgot he's absolutely useless.
Is there anything on the job board, Adam?
There is not. No, it is clean.
Okay. Well, Acosta's there.
Yep.
Well, let's go to the inn. I think that's where we're gonna go ahead and get some good information, and more importantly, some food.
And drinks, don't forget drinks.
And there's drinks too. I work there. I know the owner. I can hook you up.
All right, so it sounds like you guys would like to make your way to the Stonehill Inn.
Yep.
All right, as you make your way to the Stonehill Inn and you step up to the door and like reach your hand to open it to start heading in, you hear this kind of loud booming voice from inside. Not so loud that it, seems magical or anything like that, just boisterous loud voice that you perhaps haven't heard before, but it sort of rings out as you're reaching your hand right for the door, and that's where we're going to go ahead and pause here and take our 15-minute break, folks.
Dun dun dun. Josephine's cool so far.
Yeah, so far. That was hilarious. Pointing in the air and then like... oh, sorry. I thought that was funny. Yep. See
like
you
a
guys
little hand puppet sock or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yep. Good job. All right, we'll see you guys back in 15.
Cool.
Alrighty, we are on the second half of our session here. The group has made it back to Phandalin and is currently about to step into the Stonehill Inn. So, group, you hear this sort of boisterous voice as you're opening the door and entering. As you find yourself inside the inn, you notice a very depressed atmosphere inside. There's far fewer patrons than you're used to seeing, and those that are here don't seem to be making a whole lot of noise. There's just very sort of somber conversations from a few people that are here talking with one another. However, this boisterous voice you pretty quickly recognize as being from this gentleman who is standing nearby the counter to the bar and looking towards Toblin on the other side. You notice Toblin, after this boisterous voice kind of rings out, he looks towards this newcomer and then motions like his head back towards you guys. And you notice this large man turns and now looks towards you all as he leans his back against the bar and puts his thumbs sort of right at his waist in his trousers here, as he gives you guys a curt nod and motions with his head for you to approach.
Yeah, I think we'll approach.
Alright, group, so as you start approaching towards this large gentleman, you see he gives you guys this sort of puffed up chest and then gives a nod and says, "So I hear that y'all are the adventurers from around here, is that right?"
Aye.
Good.
We do what we can, we try to be helpful.
Oh my, I didn't even recognize you down there, little one. Oh, sorry, I could have stepped on you. Well, that's good to hear.
That wouldn't be good for me, no. Thank you for not doing that.
Old Don John has squished bigger things between his boots down before, don't you now not believe it?
I'm sorry. Don Juan? Is that what you said?
Don John.
Don John. I'm gonna pull my hood back. Gore. Nice to meet you.
And you see he sort of raises an eyebrow as you do so. Orc, I see. Well, interesting. Heard the town had some trouble with them orcs not too long ago.
They were distant cousins. He doesn't even know them.
That's so. Well, as I say, you can't blame a man for the people that is around him and stuff, but I hope that same applies to the orcs.
I have no intention of harming anyone for no reason, but give me a reason, and, well, I inflict a lot of harm.
Well, you're definitely much more soft-spoken than the orcs I've seen before, so I suppose that's a good sign.
Well, trying not to be too rude. These are somber times, but it doesn't look like too many people are worried here.
Well, can't really say myself. I've only arrived just here recently. Been speaking to Toblin here. Says you folks are some of the only people that get up into that dangerous business of leaving town and finding what's around these parts. Is that right?
They've been doing it longer than me, but yes, we tend to lend a helping hand.
Well, I'll just cut right down through all the bullshit and get you right down to what I'm looking for then here. So, I know you just probably recently got back from an outing. You all look like you're looking good and healthy, don't have much wounds on you. So I'm guessing that means you didn't find much trouble where you were looking for. So perhaps y'all would like to accompany me and, well, I'm thinking there might be some trouble, but the pay is good. And, well, could use a hand.
We did it.
Speak up there now, Elf. I can't hear you.
I apologize. I murmur a lot, I suppose. Whisper. What does this entail?
Oh, well, you see, there's kind of a mining operation not too far around here, and, you see, it's been some trouble. We haven't been able to extract much therefrom, and, the consortium sent me out to take a look and see what's going out yonder and hope to try to get things back on track. So, well, exactly what it'll entail, probably just stepping up and looking dangerous, so now I can do some negotiating with whoever it is them pizza over there that's causing a disruption in the operations.
Sounds easy enough. What's the pay?
Well, I can't say exactly. Let's see what the trouble is first, but I suppose I could give you probably a gold piece each a day for your troubles.
That's not bad.
Can't think of anything better to do right now.
Well, we should definitely report to Toblin. Have him get the word out about Axholm.
And how many days are we talking about? We got some friends. I mean, I know you just said we're looking healthy, but let me just tell you, I mean, it wasn't always like that. We had some troubles. We just came back from problems.
Yeah, that's kind of how it works in the adventuring life. Thought you already knew that, no?
Oh, yes, but I'm just saying, you just said we looked really good, and I'm just saying, yeah, but it doesn't come without, I mean, we don't always look this good. But how many days are you going to need us?
Hard to say that. Perhaps a day's travel out to the mine, take a look, see what's happening there. Hopefully it's, as I said, easy negotiation, get you back another day, so why don't we say 3 days just to call it good and conservative?
3 days doesn't sound too long, but if we're going to take you up on this, we'll need some gold up front to cover some cost for what we'll need for your protection.
Now, come on. This ain't my first time doing no negotiating. You look at your all armed to the teeth. Look at all that stuff you got. Is that 3 scimitars I see dangling on your backpack? I'm sure you got everything you done need. Now, come on.
Well, you are observant, Don John. I think Eomir here needs some arrows or something.
Aye, I do.
I'm sure you can afford those yourself. I'm not into the habit of buying something and paying for it before I get it, right? So, let's just do this among friends, see here. We'll get there, we'll make sure everything's good, and you take me on my word, I pay. I'm good for it. Like I said, I come from Neverwinter. I'm representing the consortium. They certainly got the funds to cover this expense, so don't you worry now.
Sounds like easy money to me, guys. When do we leave?
Oh, sorry, young lady. I didn't see you there neither. You're with this folks? Adventuring type? I guess, well, as I say, don't books and covers and stuff, but hope you'll be able to take care of yourself.
Well, my friend Josephine here has a whacking stick, so...
I brandish my stick in his face.
She
See?
can hold
See?
her own.
That is a fine-looking stick there, young lady. I hope that doesn't come near my face in too much of times. So, do we have a deal then, yo?
Well, I mean, do you know our friend Tomlin here?
Toblin, the innkeeper here, I've been speaking to him a little bit. Just know him a little name and such. Don't know him real well. Why you ask?
Well, because if he knows you, then I trust his judgment, because I work here. Not all the time when I'm not adventuring. I work here. I help clean and things.
Mostly eats food.
And there's times, yeah.
I see. Well, as I said, I only just met him now. I've heard his name before, of course. Consortium has some notes on different places that we do business with. So, yeah, I've heard the name, Stonehill Inn and Toblin, of course. But, no great friendship or anything along those lines, afraid to say. But you can certainly trust me. I mean what I say, and I stand behind my word, and the Consortium backs me. They got the funds to do it. So it's a pretty easy, straight deal.
Honestly, we might as well. Our friends are napping right now, so we need to wait. I mean, for them to wake up later on. So let's give them a few days to do that. Sure, we can go with you.
All right,
Rain,
that sounds like your leader has agreed to the deal then. That's wonderful. I'm glad to hear that. Now, I don't mean to be second guessing you all or nothing, but some of you all, like this guy here, you see he points over towards Gore, he certainly has intimidating countenance, and I'm sure that will serve us quite well in any kind of negotiations that need to be done, but the rest of y'all, I gotta be honest, you don't give me that whole scary vibe. Maybe the little girl with the stick, if she can get up, maybe a little bit, but I assume you guys got something with you, or can show something to make yourself look a little scary if I need that, right?
I'm a Dragon.
Right. Well, that doesn't mean much to me, and I don't know if that'll mean nothing to the other party we're negotiating with, neither.
Kotu is I guess you could say he's an expert in arson.
In awesome. Oh,
I
that's what that.
enjoy tossing fire once in a while. I enjoy it.
Fire. Okay, well that might then work. Maybe when we get down to negotiations, you can toss some fire in between your hands back and forth and make them know you know business and stuff, right?
And then some.
All right, I think that'll work. Pretty boy elf there, what you got? I assume you like magic guy and you can throw stuff back down quick, or what do you do?
Subtlety. And I just pull out, like, I take my bow off, and I've got Bando on my shoulder hanging out.
And you see he kind of looks towards you and then looks towards the hawk. Well, I assume you can do something a little bit scarier than that. Can you at least make him, like, screech or something?
I mean, yeah, I guess, yeah, Bando, I guess, like, caw.
And you see he kind of looks and he kind of plays with this little toothpick in his mouth. Well, I guess that gonna have to do then, won't it? Well, I suppose as all y'all going together, just try to, don't look like you can get pushed down and stuff, right? I just need you to look tough like you got a backbone.
Yeah, we can do what you need. Don't worry about that. As long as you pay us on time.
As soon as we get back down to here to Fandolin, that's when you'll get paid. Like I said, 3 days probably won't even be 3 days, to be honest, but might as well call it 3. So, alright, well that's excellent. Sounds like we've got ourselves a struck deal, and that's what I like to hear. So, I'll be going with y'all, of course, just to make sure everything gets taken care of, and I know the directions, and so you won't have to worry about trying to find the place. When would you all like to leave?
What time of day is it, Adam?
So you guys woke up at Umbridge Hill, made your way back here, so it's probably early afternoon at this part, like 1 p.m.
First thing tomorrow morning?
First thing tomorrow morning. Yeah, I suppose that could be good. I'll take Toblin up on his offer to try some of this special reserve he's talking about.
Oh, the food here is splendid.
Ah, you don't say. I heard them say something about little guy burned some stuff up just recently and it stunk the kitchen for a whole day.
That was not me. I don't even to cook. Trust me on that.
I'll take your word for it. All right, well then, meet you here in the morning then, I suppose. You'll probably see me around the inn here having a drink and grabbing some food and such. Then retire to my room and make sure I'm good and rested for the journey in the morning. I recommend y'all do the same.
We'll see you tomorrow morning.
Roger that, Captain.
And you see he flicks his hat, nods, and turns back towards the bar.
Okay. Before I head to the Lion Shield Coster, can I, kind of pull Gorlami aside? I got a question for him.
You sure can, yeah.
Yeah, I did too. Why do you need the whole night? I thought you just needed some arrows.
Well, I just don't want to be tired.
I want to get some new clothes.
Yeah, that too.
I mean, yeah, I didn't disagree with you. I was just curious. But what? What's up?
Oh, I was just wondering, your scimitars. I can trade you, if you don't mind, some items for those scimitars.
I mean, I don't really need anything for them. I was just going to use them to make something at some point. But what are you? Do you want to wield one? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. I'm pretty sure I left my short sword back in Axholm.
That sounds right, because, yeah, you've been doing the whole drop and spin different weapon collection for a while.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I left my short sword in Axholm. So, yeah.
Yeah, but how do you fare with a scimitar? I mean, can you wield a long sword, a short sword? I mean, I can make it what you like. I need 1 hour.
Scimitars are just fine.
Okay. This one wasn't made by me, so I can't guarantee that it will work that well, but here.
Do I owe you anything?
No. I mean, I was glad that you were able to get us to the windmill, so we'll call it square.
Works for me. Yeah, I've lost my short sword, guys.
All right, so if there's any shopping you guys would like to do for regular things out of the PHB, feel free to do so. You can buy them at PHB prices here in Phandalin. If there's anything special beyond the PHB stuff that you're looking for, let me know. We'll see if there's somewhere you can track it down here in Phandalin. Keep it in mind, this isn't like, a major trading hub or anything like that, so they don't have a ton of stuff here. But if there is anything out of the ordinary, otherwise, once you're all done doing your shopping, go ahead and just type ready in the chat, and I will know that means you are ready to spend your day here at the Stonehill Inn, getting some food and drink, and wake up in the morning for the journey to the mine.
Okay, so when you say PHB prices, like if I try to sell something, just remove it and then add that?
You can get half the PHB price if you sell something, assuming it's in reasonable shape. So if it's something that was really badly damaged, you might not get full price, but if it's just something you've had on you and you've used a little bit, you can get half price.
Cool, okay.
And Adam, for me, I just gave 2 coins to the coin gods. My only purpose is just thinking Kurtu would want to go ahead and get clean clothes, so I just put 2 gold towards that. That's
yeah, absolutely. If you did 2 gold, that'll get you some pretty good clothes too, because clothes usually are not super expensive. So yeah, you can consider he's got either a couple sets perhaps, or has some really good clothes. Because I think the traveler's gear or whatever, I'd have to check the exact
I just
cost.
look at traveler's clothes. It just said 2 gold on D&D Beyond.
Okay, yeah, so that's like a full set of everything. So yeah, that would work.
Okay, cool. All right, yeah, and that's just for he doesn't want to look grungy all the time. So now he did shop in the kids' corner, so just to let you know. So.
Hey, Ermir, what are you selling?
I'm selling this crossbow, these daggers, some crossbow bolts, rapier.
Jeez, where did you get all that?
Well, we had a friend of ours who perished. And, well, you see, I'm just trying to help out the party a little bit here. I'm gonna split it up evenly.
Looting the dead, huh? That's pretty low. Who would have convinced you to do that? Hey, but if you're giving shit out, what you got?
Well, I've got this, and I pull out these thieves' tools, and I'm like, I kind of wanted to tinker around with these, try to figure it out, try to learn a little bit, so I wasn't getting rid of these. Crossbow, like I said, daggers.
Show me those tools. I think I can use them.
I'm gonna hand the little box of these thieves' tools to Josephine.
Oh yeah. I had a friend back in Waterdeep who really knew how to do this shit. I can show you if you want, but I might need to hold on to him for reasons. You want this hunting trap in exchange? I don't want to just take shit from your dead friend. That would be pretty disrespectful, Yeah,
that works. Perfect.
Oh, trust me, she wouldn't mind. She was a good friend of mine, and she's burnt now anyway, so,
I am overweight now. Oh, no. Hold on. That's not good.
Ugh, do you need me to carry something, weak elf?
I don't think you're overweight, Eomir. You look pretty nice to me.
Let me
as far as elves go.
Let me get rid of some of this gear and then. Gosh.
So I'm gonna take I'm gonna take my thieves' tools back then, and get rid of this hunting trap.
Hey, and also, Victor, maybe you can go ahead and bring the hunting trap and bring it to the same spot, and maybe it can sit next to Lance's.
Yeah, maybe leave it behind again in the fucking wilderness.
Too soon, guys. Okay. Hold on. I'm almost done here, guys.
And rest of the team, like I say, if once you're done with any shopping that you would like to do, just go ahead and type ready in the chat there so I know that you're all set.
Hey guys, so listen, I know I kind of invited myself along here, but I'm on what you might call a bit of a journey of personal discovery, and what I've personally discovered is that I really like beating the shit out of things, and it sounds like that might happen pretty soon. So, if you'd have me, I'd be super happy about that. Any objections?
Well, just make sure you know who your friends are. I mean, that's all. I would just, please, I'm a good guy, you know?
Yeah, you seem like good people. Just don't give me a reason.
I don't have a problem with it. Yumia?
No issues. No issues here.
I'm afraid to say no, to be honest with you. I don't want to say no.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you some torches. 9 of them, in fact, Josephine. I don't need them.
Well, you see, I already have 10 torches.
I have
But
9 more.
What's up
I
with you
think I
giving
can-
away torches like they're candy
I think
bars?
I
yeah?
can. Where did you get them, by the way?
I
thought you gave away all your torches.
I gave one. I gave one to Gorlami. But you're a human.
Adam, are
so-
these like big ass tiki torches, or are they like little handheld ones?
I mean, they're reasonably heavy. Let me check the weight on them, but I seem to recall that they're pretty heavy.
I think they're just like one, whatever the unit
They're
is.
a pound a piece, yeah. So I would say they're fairly good size. I imagine maybe like 18 inches long kind of thing. So pretty hefty. I mean, a pound doesn't sound like much, but if you got 10 torches on you, that's 10 pounds, you know?
I'm about to have 19 torches on me.
Well,
so
there you go, right?
that's what I'm asking about.
So that puts me back underweight. So
I'll take your 9 torches. Victor.
Yeah!
I got the weight.
You know.
I think.
Look, I have a thing called Powerful Build. Just hand them to me. I'll take your stupid torches.
oh, sweet. You want these hunting traps too?
No.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
I'm not a pack mule. But
Oh,
why are we taking the torches? Can you see in the dark, Josephine?
Nope.
Well, there we go. That's why I'm
Bad
carrying
human
them.
eyes.
okay. All right.
I meant to send this to everybody, but I just sent it to Adam. But I have this ability. Orcs do racially now.
All right, so it sounds like you guys have completed all of your shopping then. So once you've completed all of your shopping and get things ready to go, I assume you're going to pass the night away in the Stonehill Inn. Is there anything in particular you guys would like to do before that? Anyone you wanted to talk to, or anything else you'd like to do before we pass some time to the morning and get the journey to the mine underway?
Yes. If we're staying here, it would be considered a long rest, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Gorlami is going to retire to a room, and he's going to spend that time, Adam, doing his channel divinity for Artisan's Blessing.
Okay. And what would you like to
And-
create?
Hang on one second. Let me just double check the price on it. Of course it doesn't say.
If it doesn't say, it's probably like 101 gold pieces.
No, I just clicked on the wrong thing to look it up. So I definitely, I'm just gonna put a gold piece down, and then one of the scimitars, and I am going to create a metal quarterstaff, and it's about halfway down it. It's gonna just say whacking stick, and then I'm gonna have the handle wrapped in like a leather, and it's not mechanically any stronger than what Josephine would have now, but it's cooler.
And perhaps a bit heavier, I imagine, if it's made out of all metal.
Wax a little harder, I would assume. But I'll present it to her in the morning, and then I'll just pass out after that.
Yeah, I'll trade in the staff.
All right, fair enough. So you guys do indeed get that long rest, wake up in the morning after grabbing some breakfast and so forth, and you notice Don John is hanging out nearby where you met him the first time. And as he sees you guys all gathered here, he does indeed approach. Some of you guys might have eyes out looking for Bryn, Finn, or Misa, but it doesn't seem like they've made their way back to Phandalin yet, so probably still recovering at Umbridge Hill. You guys, in the morning here, as Don John approaches, you see he nods down to you all and says, "Well, looks like y'all ready to go. Did you get some food in yet? Can we get going now?"
Yeah, and we got about 20 torches. I don't know why, but yeah, we're ready.
And you see he kind of pokes at his hat and says, "I suppose that'd be quite enough torches for anywhere. So, yes, let's get underway."
And as like everybody turns to start walk away, I'm gonna put my hand on Josephine's shoulder and say, "Josephine,
What's up, buddy?"
I know you don't know me, and well, I made you this. Yeah, and I'm gonna hand you the metal whacking stick. And now that you like hold it in your hand, you can see that the quarterstaff is wrapped in like a very elegant filigree that matches the pattern that you already have on your robe. And then about halfway down it, in really elegant script, you see whacking stick. And I say, I think it hit a little bit harder. I mean, it's nothing like special or anything, but I made it for you.
Aw, you're so sweet. Thanks, I'll take it. I'm always in the business of getting free shit.
And it won't go away or anything. So, yeah.
Well, thanks, buddy. I'll return the favor. Well, I can't obviously do that, but you know what? I'll keep you alive. How about that?
Sounds good. Hit somebody with it for me, and just say whack.
Oh, I'll hit a whole bunch of people with it. Don't worry. Don't you worry about that.
Okay, cool. Let's catch up with everyone.
All right, you guys make your way outside of Phandalin as Don John starts leading the party here. And you see as he's making his way overland and you guys are following him, he seems to be quite talkative. And as the hours begin to pass by, as you're making your way northeast away from Phandalin, you hear a lot of boisterous talk about tales he's sort of sharing with you, about people that he has told to, kind of get in their place. And all of these stories he is sort of rattling off to you. They really cast him as this sort of larger-than-life figure. They don't necessarily go into a ton of detail about exact things that he has done, but you certainly get the impression that from these tales he is telling you, it's important to him that he is viewed as being perhaps a leader and a decisive figure and someone who's very bold and these sorts of things. And you see, as you guys are making your way, and again, all these hours, traveling, after about, say, 6 hours, you get to roughly, or not 6 hours, no, after about 3 hours, you get to roughly here in the journey as you're getting closer and closer to the location of this mine. Is there anything in particular you guys are sharing with Don John, or basically just listening to his tales?
I think, speaking for Gore, he's just going to listen, really, while he walks behind.
Yeah, I'm just gonna listen as well.
All right, fair enough. Apologies, guys. I will need to take a 1-minute break here real quick. I'll be right back.
No problem.
Okay, so you guys are approaching the mine here, and it sounds like for the most part you guys are letting Don John do the talking as you're just sort of following by and listening to his stories. Alright, so this journey in total is about 15 miles. So after a total of about 5 hours or so, as you guys are walking over land, you eventually get closer to this area, and you see him sort of pointing off in the distance now as he breaks from one of his stories and says, "Well, I think we're just about here."
And why do you think you're going to have trouble out here? I mean, what brought that concern on?
Well, that's a good question out there, one. Well, you see, production in the mine has gotten really slow, so the stories that we're getting back in Neverwinter is there's been some kind of disruption in production, you see, so naturally that can only mean one of a couple things, and we're hoping it's probably banditry is the most likely. I hate to say I'm hoping for that, but that would probably be the least issue in order to resolve, if you understand what I'm saying.
Maybe they just can't find stuff.
And you see he kind of cocks an eyebrow at you and flicks his hat once again. No, that's not how it works, you see. Anytime there's a slowdown, if there's a reason for it, they would tell us. But it hasn't happened. We gotten no word. So when there's a disruption in production and no word, it means shit's gone down. But we just got to figure out exactly what that is. Alright, y'all ready? Come on, just let's turn this corner right here, and, well, yep, there we are. And you see, as you're walking a little bit closer, you're on the outskirts of this rocky terrain. It looks like essentially the side of a mountain.
Do you know anything about who's inside, John?
Well, the miners, they're a bunch of dwarves, you could say. How many exactly of them there are, don't know. I don't have those details on me. But, gotta be quite a few in there. Maybe a dozen or so. Maybe more.
Well, I don't kill dwarfs, so if you'd like me to do the talking, I'm quite familiar with them, and perhaps I can help.
Yeah, that would be just fine with me. Let's take a look and see what the problems are, and then we can go from there.
Hey, guys, I see something. And then I'll point to this thing.
And
down
as you
here.
look down that way, and you see this figure, Josephine, probably the thought that comes to mind is some type of anthropomorphic rat, as it has stands about the height of a typical human, but it has rat-like features.
I will describe this to anyone who cannot see as far as I can.
That doesn't look like a
I
dwarf.
see him
does it?
too.
Doesn't sound like a dwarf to me, right?
Oh,
Hey, Don John, in all your many travels, have you seen anything like this?
You see he kind of like takes the same angle that you took as he looks down there, scratches at his chin here a little bit. Well, I must say that is quite strange. I don't know exactly what that is. Some kind of strange being. Yeah, maybe you all better do the talking. Do you know what it is?
Probably not, do I? Would I have any reason to?
You can certainly make a blind nature check here to see if this creature looks in any way familiar to you. Not at all, Josephine. In fact, you are just absolutely baffled by what this could be.
Can I make a nature check?
You can make a nature check, sure. No, you do not recognize this either, Aomir.
Alright, my turn. No, I'm just kidding, Adam. Golame has no idea. He's just ready to hit it with a hammer. Are we just gonna keep looking at it, or... Come on.
Hopefully it's friendly. Let's move.
God, the plan was negotiating, but I'm down to beat shit up if that's what you want.
I don't know if it's friendly or not, so be on your guard.
Let's not go right to the combat unless that becomes necessary.
I need people who can handle themselves. Don't go straight to the let back.
As you turn the corner here, Gorlami, you notice two of these creatures, and they both obviously spot you as you're not doing anything to try to hide your presence, and you can see these little narrow beady eyes narrow even further as they spot you. Both of them have hands close by to blades at their sides, but they haven't drawn them quite yet.
I'll raise my hands up in the air. I have just my shield on and an empty hand right now. So, I'm sorry, we thought there were dwarves here.
Yeah, maybe dwarves here. What's it to you?
Well, we've come to seek the mine. We have claim of it, and we've come to seek said claim.
Yeah, you see one looks at the other. Have claim to it, do you? And who are you?
I myself, no, I do not have claim to it, but my name is Gorlami. And what about you?
Pastrami, you say, huh? That's a weird name.
It is. What is your name?
Oh, you could call me Frank. Yeah, Frank, that's it.
Sure, Frank. And yours? And I'll point to the other one.
And you see he kind of gives you this toothy grin. Jim.
Fair. Well, we don't want any trouble. We didn't come for violence. It's not why we're here. See, we've come because, well, the mine is owned, and the owner is seeking to get it running.
Ah, I see. So what you're trying to say is that you own this place.
It is owned, yes, but not by me.
Well, I mean, isn't everything owned by somebody somewhere?
It's a valid point. So, who owns this mine now? I assume it's not Frank and Jim, the two of you who are posted outside. I assume someone inside is telling you to stand here.
Yeah, you'd assume, right?
So, why don't you take us to them and allow us to speak with them about what arrangements can be made?
Oh, I see. So you want to talk to the boss. That's what you're saying, hmm?
I look over my shoulder and looking for nods.
Shrug.
I was gonna say shrug too, but I'll give him a big thumbs up if I see Aomir do something different.
I don't know what's going on, but okay.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing. Let's go, Frank and Jim.
All right. Yeah, that's fine. I'll take you to the boss. Follow me, guys.
Can I try to do like an insight check to see if they're actually leading us to do what we want, or if they're leading us into a trap or something?
Yeah, you can make an insight check here, blind insight. I would say you get the impression that not necessarily that this is a trap, but that they, at least this particular guy, this Frank here, is obviously not being completely truthful to you, and for the most part doesn't have any good intentions towards you. It's not necessarily that they're leading you to trap. You don't feel this like anxiety kind of thing. You just more or less get the fact that maybe they're pulling one over on you.
Guys, eyes open.
Always.
I don't trust them. They don't own this place, and I don't think their name is Frank and Jim.
I agree.
You notice Don John stops here and is like really looking towards Jim very carefully and eyeing him. And for his part, Jim is just being kind of quiet and leaning up against the wall.
And as I walk past Jim, I'm gonna stop like I was gonna keep walking, and then I step back and I say, "Hey, Jim, what happened to the dwarfs that were here?"
All of them?
Yeah. They don't.
I can't tell you what happened to all of them. I didn't track every single one of them, you see.
So what happened to the ones you know about?
Still here. All right, so you notice that Frank steps up to this door and opens it. I don't know that the scripts are working right now. Okay, unfortunately not. It's a whole nother story. I won't get into too much detail, but I will go ahead and open this door. All right, you notice Frank opens this door here and starts walking through. You see he turns back. Ah, come on! Don't fall behind! You hear the sound of another door being opened.
Choo-choo.
I'm waiting for our
Or Drum or whatever.
yeah.
Yep, yeah, you see he does start following in behind after analyzing Jim out front. All right, Gore, as you... Yep, no worries. Gore, as you enter, you notice that there is another one of these individuals to the south. However, this one looks clearly more of a feminine type figure. And you notice the first one looks back towards you guys and then looks down towards her. Boss lady, these people wanted to talk to you. And you notice she suddenly turns and looks, and you can see as she eyes you again, you get that sort of beady-eyed kind of look from her. What do you want?
Mr. Don? Come here, sir.
You notice he does walk around the area looking, and you see him kind of looking around very carefully.
So, Don John here hired us because the Dwarven owners of the mine, we were coming to negotiate with them.
Negotiate? What is it you want to negotiate about?
I raised my hand over the Don John. Apparently this man here is supposed to run the mine, starting immediately.
Oh, I see. Well, that's unfortunate, but, well, we were kicked out of our home and had to find a new home. Just so happens that this here mine made quite a nice home for my friends and I.
And what of the dwarves who made it their home first?
Oh, this was never their home. It was just their place of work. Some of them are still here.
You guys seem to be awfully ambivalent about some of them are still here. Where are the other ones? Did they perish?
Oh, I reckon they left.
Can I insight check that, Adam?
Sure, go ahead and give me a blind insight. You get the impression she knows more than what she's saying.
Well, I don't know you. I don't want to call you a liar, but I call that a half-truth. You want to tell me the other half? I want the other half. Where are the dwarfs and what happened to them?
Well, as I said, some of them are here. The others, well, they might be here, but not still alive, let's say.
This was your doing, I suppose.
Well, when we came here looking for a new home, some of them weren't very accepting of this idea.
Alright, I step forward and I draw my hammer at him. And you can go ahead and roll some initiative because I'm about to smack her in the face.
All right, as you step forward drawing your hammer, we will do just that.
Oh boy, we're doing this, huh? All right, let's go.
I got a big connection to dwarfs, guys. She killed dwarfs, I kill her.
Oh yeah, I'm feeling the same way. I'm very fond of dwarves. Oh.
Guess who goes first, mother trucker?
All right, so as we start our combat here, Gorlami is in fact the quickest and first to react.
Alright, so hammer in hand, I'm going to draw it, and I'm just going to see if I can tee it up to the point where my hammer will meet her head and then into the wall. And you know what, Adam? Because dwarfs are involved, I'm a hero point it right off the get-go.
Okay.
And let's do one-handed warhammer.
Oh boy.
Nice. Go
She
ahead
about to
and roll
get
a
deleted.
bludgeoning crit. All right, go ahead and post that damage. Okay, you smack into her solidly, and you see she gets sent backwards, struck into the wall, and collapses to the ground after this big wallop.
And I'm gonna point it down at her and say, okay. Now I'm going to kill you. And I'm gonna step forward one more time, and it's doing that weird thing where, oh, I think my token's still locked. That's why it's not giving me the...
My bad, go ahead.
No, there we go. I'm just gonna move right to here. Oh, that was the leader, Adam? I thought this was the leader, but that's fine. I wanted to hit the leader, so thank you.
Yep, that was her, yep.
Perfect. All right. And, actually, seeing that, I thought it was the other way around. So I'm actually just going to stay where I was, Adam. And now in my turn.
All right, as you say that to her, she looks up to you and says, that was a bad move. A really bad move. Get up! And you hear scurrying now coming from around this area in both directions. Stepping around the corner, you notice just a human that looks to be a miner. They have sort of just typical clothes on, trousers, that type of thing. Steps up pretty quickly towards you, Aamir. From the side, you see this human grabs forth a short sword and pierces forth towards you. Give me a defensive roll, please. Nice, that will count as a fumble. Go ahead and roll a melee fumble. Okay, embarrassed on the first attack, she will then stab forth with a second attack. And this one will be a crit against you. Go ahead and roll a piercing crit on yourself. Alright, so this will be a true crit.
Yeah, for real.
You will suffer 11 points of piercing damage as the sword strikes true.
My little health bar hasn't been updating.
It updated for me on screen.
Okay. Yeah, it's not updating for me, but it's okay.
Alright, coming around the corner, you see another one of these miners. As the miner turns the corner and faces you all, you notice that it shakes its body, which begins to transform. Then it is Josephine's turn.
Before Josephine's turn, Gorlami's going to grunt and say, let's push back. They're going to surround us.
Okay. So, you want us to leave right now?
No, just be ready to.
You got it, boss. So, I think I can actually do it from right here, in fact. So I've never done this before, obviously. So Josephine is going to square up. She's going to plant both her feet on the ground real solidly, clap her hands together onto her metal staff, and then I'm going to spend a key point to manifest my arms of the astral self. So from the ground behind her emerges these gigantic clay-looking arms, big brawny things with like almost cat-like claws at the end, and they're just going to rise up from the ground, mimicking her movements. And then I need every creature of my choice within 10 feet of me. So this guy and this guy need to make dexterity saves or suffer 2 rolls of my martial arts die, which I think are still d4s at this level.
Okay, so I'm trying to think if a spell effect roll will work for you. Let me just test this real quick. No. So I assume this is going to be based on your wisdom, right?
Yeah. It's based on wisdom.
So go ahead and roll me, just for ease, go ahead and throw me 2 wisdom saving throws.
Wisdom save. Okay. Oh god. Sorry.
All right, and go ahead and set yourself to public. So the first guy will not be affected, but the leader will be. So go ahead and post that damage.
Okay. 2d4.
And what type of damage is this?
This is force damage.
All right, you notice as the arms sprout up, they do smack into her as she is on the ground, wounding her.
All right. So then I will make. Yeah, I'm gonna do it from this range. So because she's prone, I believe this is still counting as a melee attack, even though my reach is now 10 feet. Let me just confirm that real quick.
If you're looking to get advantage, you have to be within 5 feet regardless of your reach.
Oh, okay. Then yes, I will step forward here, and then in that case, I will use my quarterstaff to attack. No, actually, because no, I'll use my fist still. So here comes attack number 1 at advantage. It's an 18 hit.
It does indeed.
So 7 force damage. It's force because I'm using my astral arms.
Okay, smacks into her.
And then bonus action martial arts attack.
Yep, that'll hit as well.
For 9.
She is wounded a second time.
I guess I have to chill because I don't want to step away and get hit. Well, did she have a weapon in her hand?
She does not.
I still don't want to do it, actually. So I'm good. And I will be looking over my shoulder to see if I can beat feet if I have to.
All right. Excuse me. Another one of these miners turns the corner, and very similarly, body begins to shake as her form twists. Gorlami, you notice a giant rat comes from the northeast, getting up upon you and attacking. Go ahead and give me a defensive roll at disadvantage.
What the fuck?
All right, as the rat tries to bite you, you are able to evade that strike. Okay, Don John is going to attack the creature just to his southeast here. He will jab out with a dagger that he procures fairly quickly, just stabbing for 3 times. He does manage to score 1 critical hit. All right, he stabs into the creature, and those of you that can see this creature realize that as he stabbed it, it wounds it, but not as much as you might think. Another giant rat rushes down here, attacking you again, Gorlami. Another defensive roll at disadvantage. This one manages to get through your defenses, hitting you for 3 points of piercing damage as its teeth stab into you. Okay, next up is Aomir.
Okay, Alright, so Bando is gonna come flying through here, do his normal thing.
So quick, just FYI, the ceilings here are only 8 feet high. So wherever Bando is flying will certainly be within reach of everything.
Oh no. Oh well, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, he's gonna hit, and then come back right away. Because as long as he's flying, he can do the
Flyby. Yep.
flyby. Yeah.
Yep. I just wanted to throw that as an FYI that wherever he's at, he will be within reach.
Okay.
That attack will connect.
Boom, she's dead.
And as Bando slashes into her, she does indeed look to be dead.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna do something crazy here. I am going to take the opportunity attack. I'm gonna move right here.
Alright, as you step away from that one, she will indeed try to stab you with her short sword. Go ahead and make a defensive roll. Yes, you managed to evade that strike.
Okay, she's getting shot. The miner. Or
Your
not.
arrow misses widely.
That's 15 feet, and that's my turn. I'm gonna refresh too to do the health bar.
Alright, another rat comes around the corner. As does yet another one. Alright, this one, Frank, who led you in. Gorlami, you're going to see he first is going to attempt to bite you. Go ahead and give me a defensive roll. You manage to evade that. He then stabs forward with a blade.
Sorry, getting my stuff all queued up. Here we go.
Blade manages to get through your defenses, dealing 3 points of piercing damage to you. The leader is in fact dead, so she will take no action. Kurtu.
Oh my! I think everybody here. Oh, this is horrible. This is horrible. I think we need a little bit of luck here.
Alright, Adam, I'm using a level 2. And it's going to be...
So remember, it's only people you can see.
Yeah, and I can see myself, I can see Gore, I can see the elf, and I can see the mug. So it's just the 4 of us.
Okay, yep. So those of you that have just been selected, go ahead and make sure to check the bless modifier on your sheet.
You know, if the toggle condition thing, Adam, had a bless one, and that would be really cool.
That I still have to set up, unfortunately. That's going to be toggle spell effect.
Oh, cool. Cool. It's cool to know that it's actually there, though.
Yeah, it's just a little bit of not programming, but typing to get them all set up properly.
That's cool.
Alright, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to move just to see if the other guy from the outside tries to come in or anything.
Okay, sure.
And I will end my turn.
Alright, after you end your turn, we'll move to the top of the next round with Gorlami.
There it is.
Okay. The top of the next round with Gorlami. Gorlami is going to close his eyes and say, "Nice arms. I'd like those, Josephine. Check mine out." Yes! And he's going to Word of Radiance. He's going to try to hit everybody but Josephine, obviously.
Each creature of your choice. Okay, yeah, so throw me 1, 2, 3, 4 spell effect rolls, please.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, so the The creature, the humanoid rat creature, is not affected, but the other 3 will be.
So what it looks like is as he like brings his shield and his hammer out, it looks like this force of kind of like a soft golden energy burst out of him really quick, but just for a short little reaction. And then he's going to hold his hammer up in the air, and he's going to say a few words in Dwarvish. Oh crap, never mind. I changed that. Actually, you know what? I still have this as a bonus action. Never mind, nobody's in range. So, yeah. That's an action to do Word of Radiance. Bonus action, don't have nothing. I'm just going to hold my spot here.
What do you say in Dwarvish?
He didn't get a chance to, but he was going to... The spell that he was going to cast for Spiritual Weapon, he says all of his spells in Dwarvish.
Oh, okay.
All right, this one is going to step up, this minor, and with the flank on Gorlami, will attack Gorlami. So 2 defensive rolls, please, Gorlami. First one will be a piercing crit, and the second one will also hit. Roll a piercing crit against yourself, please. All right, so I'm just going to post the first one, the non-crit. So that's 5. Plus 9 for a total of 14 points of damage from 2 of pierces of that short sword. Coming around the corner up towards Josephine is another one of these creatures. Josephine's going to attack you. Go ahead and give me a defensive roll, please. 2 of them. First is a bite, and the second is a stab of the sword. Fortunately, both of these will connect. Josephine 6 piercing damage and a con save. And 6 more piercing damage, so a total of 12 points of damage to Josephine.
Not great. And I can't use hero points on
Only
saves,
on
right?
your turn, correct.
Ooh.
All right, yes. You don't feel any different, at least right now. And we move to Josephine's turn.
And just remember on that too, you do have bless, so I don't know if that helped at all. Oh yeah,
It would not. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure.
Well, just letting you know.
Alright, so this is not a great position to be in. So my health also didn't update, so I'll
That's
refresh.
so weird,
the loop.
because it is updated for me, so I'm not sure what the deal is.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna spend a key point for Step of the Wind. So I believe that allows me to disengage as a bonus action.
Yes.
So I'm going to disengage as a bonus action. And then, as I move past here, so that's 5 feet of movement, I'm going to take my action to swat at this thing here with one of my fists.
Okay.
So...
Oof, that will be a fumble.
yeah. What is this, a force fumble?
Just melee. Quite
Okay.
embarrassed.
So I'm still disengaging. So I'm assuming moving through Aomir because he's next to a thing is difficult terrain, right?
Correct.
So 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. And I will keep a lookout for anything coming either down this hallway or from whence we came.
All right, rushing up past that one is another creature that puts Gorlami into a flank and attacks Gorlami. Gorlami, 2 defensive rolls, please. All right, you managed to evade the bite, and then comes the short sword, which will get through your defenses for 3 points of piercing damage. The giant rat is also going to attack you, Gorlami. Defensive roll at disadvantage, please. Critical hit against you. Piercing damage, crit on yourself, Gorlami. Oof. Oof. Oh, really
Oh,
bad.
goodness.
This giant rat has just effed you up majorly. All right, so that's 9 piercing damage. Your leg is injured, reducing your your speed by 10 feet, and your maximum HP are reduced by 9. All right, Don John's turn, and he is going to stab out at the rat. He will miss, and then manage to hit, wounding the rat. Hearing your instructions, he is then going to step back, provoking 2 opportunity attacks. And he will get struck both times. All right, he will be wounded by this. And then he will continue moving. And you see he looks back towards you as he passes Josephine. How far are we going back, you reckon?
He said fall back. Maybe choke him by the entrance?
Alright, this giant rat is also going to attack Gorlami. Disadvantage rolled Gorlami. This will manage to get through, dealing 4 points of piercing damage.
Okay, I'll have to use my relentless endurance.
Alright, so
burn it.
Do not drop to 0 then. Okay, we move to Aomir's turn.
Alright, Bando's gonna start by smacking this guy and moving this way.
Alright, he shreds the giant rat. That certainly connects and kills it.
Okay, I'm gonna yell to Gorlami, like, let's get out of here. I'm gonna shoot that guy.
But your shot will miss.
Oh, those blast rolls. Okay, alright. So that's 25 moving through Kurtu. Man. Alright, that's 30. And then Bando, I guess, is gonna come along with me here. Flying. And that's my turn.
Popping through the other doorway, you see another one of these miners. As the miner gets here, you notice it begins to shape shift and turns into the same type of creature you've spotted these others. Okay, this one is going to attack Gorlami. Defensive roll Gorlami at disadvantage.
Well, here we go.
That will manage to get through, dealing 6 points of piercing damage and dropping Gorlami to the ground.
Goodness gracious.
Alright, this one is going to step up through the open doorway up towards Kurtu and attack Kurtu twice. 2 defensive rolls, please, Kurtu.
But I'm cute and lovely.
You manage to evade the bite, but then the short sword does connect, hitting you for 6 points of piercing damage. Alright, stepping on the other side of the door, and you lose concentration on Bless there, Kurtu. Stepping on the other side of the door is another miner, this one looking to be a woman, and she looks to be a little bit, perhaps, scarred. You can see like this sort of fire scarring on her face, and you see she points down the hallway and she says, "You're all outmatched, and you have slain our leader. Surrender now, or we will kill you to the last." Kurtu, your turn.
Oh my gosh. Okay, Adam, I'm going to shoot 3.
And who is your targets? All
Just
at him?
all of them at him. Yep.
All right, 3 magic flaming darts flash out, striking into this guy and wounding him. And you hear a sneer from the other side from that woman that just said that. And you hear she says again, "Kill the scaled one!"
And yeah, for right now, I'm just gonna hold my turn on that. Sorry, just it's undecisive here. I'm gonna go ahead and just end my turn right now.
Okay, Gorlami to GM death save, please. Alright, and then we move on to the next one. Kurtu, you can see that this miner lady takes a knee here and begins trying to patch up Gorlami. Alright, this one will step past and pull a hand crossbow from his side, where he will then take a shot at you, Kurtu. It's an obstructed shot, so I'm going to give you a +2 for cover. Go ahead and give me a defensive roll, please. Yes, you managed to evade as the bolt comes flying in as we move to Josephine's turn. Just the one shot.
Yeah, it took a while for it to... I thought maybe I didn't push it well. It just
no
took
worries,
a while.
yeah, probably just a little lag. Alright, Josephine.
Alright. Can I get to this space through the door, or is this guy blocking it entirely?
You would have to use some type of special maneuver to get through him, so you can try to use an action or bonus action to tumble through him would be one option, or you can try doing an overrun to push him out of the way.
And if I get to here, can I move here, or would I need to do the same thing to the woman behind him?
No, I'd say you could slip through there.
Okay.
So just for mapping purposes, obviously it would be 10 feet to get here, then you would make a check to see if you can get through this guy. If you can't, you would remain in this square, and you would use either the bonus or the action, whichever you choose, and then go from there.
So, with my astral arms, I can use wisdom in place of strength for strength checks.
Okay, that would be overrun if you want to go that route.
Let me see which number is gonna be the biggest number here. So that would be +6. Acrobatics is still higher. So if I were to tumble as a bonus action, would that be an acrobatics check?
It would be, yes.
Then without... Before I do this, it's like, can I just ask them real quick, what are you going to do if we surrender?
And you see she grins and says, "Initiation then sends you on your way."
I don't really like the sound of that. So, yeah, I'm going to try to acrobatics over here as a bonus action.
Alright, go ahead and throw an acrobatics check, and you're trying to beat his acrobatics DC.
So here comes
And you chose bonus action, right?
bonus action, yes.
Alright, you try to tumble through, but are unable to do so.
Alright, so then... I'll look back at Aomir. What are we doing?
It looks like he's contemplating putting his bow down.
Alright. I'll put my hands up and my astral arms mimic it, and I will try to step back from this guy and go back to where I was.
So you're implying that you're surrendering then with your body language?
Yes.
Okay, he will not take an opportunity attack on you.
And that is my turn.
Alright, this one will step up and also attempt to shoot you, Kurtu. Go ahead and throw a defensive roll as another bolt shoots your way with cover. Nice, that will count as a fumble, so go ahead and do a ranged fumble.
I already know Adam, he accidentally shoot his friend in the head. That's exactly.
You never know. Alright, he seems to be off balance here, and anybody that was attacking him would have advantage. This rat scurries up. Don John looks back, looks forward, and says, "I think we're outmatched. Yeah, I don't think we got much choice. We're gonna have to surrender." This rat also moves up. Aomir.
I'm gonna yell like, "Please call off the attack on our scaly friend."
As you yell that towards the woman, you see she looks towards you and says, "Well, make it obvious. Drop your weapons, eh?"
I drop my bow.
Okay. And you see she sort of looks at each of you in turn.
I'll drop my staff.
Okay. Don John drops his dagger. Alright, this guy sort of rudely pushes through and not fighting, but you can see he's obviously trying to, like, block passage. This guy is going to attempt to grapple you, Kurtu. Kurtu, go ahead and give me an athletics check, please. Alright, you notice as he tries to get his hands on you solidly, you slip through his grasp, and you see he looks down at you as you sort of fight your way away, and he says, "You better surrender, otherwise it's gonna be bad for you."
I surrender, but I don't want you touching me. Don't put your hands on me. I surrender. I don't know where your hands have been.
The woman steps forward and now looking down the line, seeing that you're saying this, she essentially is focusing on you, Kurtu. I'll give this last turn to see if there's anything you're doing.
I just don't want you touching me. Okay.
Alright, so safe to say, it sounds like everybody in the group has agreed to surrender here, correct?
I think we can, well,
Yeah.
I can be able to get out, but I don't think anyone else can.
Oh, I could actually get out, but I'm not going to right now.
Alright, so with that, I will end combat here. They are slowly going to escort you guys back to this main room and sort of pin you in, you might think of it as. So I'm going to just kind of move some tokens around as they're penning you guys in here. The woman that has originally spoken to you and offered this deal of surrender is seemingly taking a leadership position at this point in time. And you see she looks down at the slain leader that you guys have already killed here. And you see pretty angrily, she looks at you guys and sneers a bit, then looks down at her once again. You see she actually changes her form to look like a giant rat, and she begins to eat the leader on the ground, tearing out pieces of her flesh, little bits by little bits. As you see this very macabre displayed before you, the rest of the creatures, the rats, just kind of sniffing, looking at you, and you can hear them squeaking and shaking their really fleshy tails here, and the other creatures looking at you for any signs of movement. You can definitely notice during this time that the hybrid ones, the ones that look like humanoid rat combinations, their wounds are actually healing pretty rapidly. So I believe there was only one that you guys managed to deal damage to that is not slain, and that one is moments later seems to be fully healthy and not wounded in the slightest. After the giant rat has consumed good chunks of the former leader, you see it shapeshift back into looking like a miner. And you see she looks out towards you all and says, "Now I am the new leader." And you see the rest of them kind of sniffing and their jerky movements looking back towards her. And it seems, based on their body language, they seem to be agreeing with this. And she looks at each of you in turn now and she says, "And you think that we are the ones that are wrong here, but you came into our mind. Look what you did. Just because you have a piece of paper that says it's yours doesn't make it yours, now does it?"
Apparently not.
"As promised, each of you shall go through initiation. Then you shall leave. You shall be banished. You shall not return. If you do return, then it's either to join us, or we will kill you. Does that make sense? Do you understand? Can you understand my words?"
Maybe yes, but counteroffer. What if we, I don't know, help you out? Obviously, your, I guess not friend anymore. Your dinner said that you had been chased out of your home. So what if we go take care of that for you, and then we call us even?
Give me a persuasion check. Blind, of course. You see she kind of grins and says, No. See, we like our new home much better. Old home didn't have nearly as much stuff. So, no. You will go through initiation, and then you will go on your way."
You got it.
And she motions for you first, Josephine, to step up towards her as she backs up a step. And you see she looks towards you and puts her nose right towards your arm, takes in this big inhale, and then she smiles and says, "You can go on your way."
Oh, that's so sweet of you. Thank you.
And then she points back towards you, Aamir, and she gives you the come here finger. And you see she sniffs you, and you notice she has this little grin on her face as her form changes. And suddenly you see standing before you is another one of these hybrid rat people. And she smiles once again and says, "This might hurt a little bit." And she moves forward to slam her jaws shut on your arm. Do you resist in any way?
No.
All right. You will suffer 5 points of piercing damage and must make a Constitution saving throw.
Can I... Okay.
All right. With that, you notice she motions for you to step back, and she then points towards you, Kurtu, and motions for you to approach.
Is this gonna hurt?
Yes! Quite a bit!
Can you make it that it doesn't hurt so much?
And you see she sort of...
I don't do well with pain.
And you see she sort of grins and her teeth chatter as the little overhang teeth in the front seem to make quite a lot of noise as she says, "Step forward!"
I think I did, but
The one with the pink dot is the one speaking.
right.
I know they all kind of look alike, so...
Yeah, I'm not being racist, but they all do.
They're exactly the same token, so you know. You notice here she bites you twice in rapid succession. Seemingly, you notice after she takes the first bite and she goes for the second bite, she says, "This is for not surrendering right away." Do you try to avoid either of these?
no.
All right, so she will bite you twice, dealing 10 points of piercing damage and 2 con saves. All right, and then she says that you are on your way. And lastly, she looks down at Gorlami and she says, "Do one of you want to help him out a bit? Because I'll still bite him, but he might die."
I'm going to... I guess I'll cast Cure Wounds on him.
Kurtu, you are pushed pretty rudely out of the way. So as you cast Cure Wounds on Gorlami, your eyes open for just a moment as you are surrounded by all of these creatures and some of your friends, I imagine, looking quite embarrassed or ashamed, depending on each individual character. But you notice this rat humanoid looking down at you and says, She points at you and she says, "Now don't move. Your friends agreed to this. It's this or death." And you see she reaches forth to bite your arm. Do you resist in any way?
No. I guess I can't.
You will suffer 5 points of piercing damage, get knocked unconscious once again. So this will be 2 levels of exhaustion now. And then I'll need a con save as well. All right, and as you begin to go unconscious once again, you see she turns back towards you, Aomir, and says, okay, you're all past. You might want to do your magic thing again, and then go. All of you go.
What? Wait. What about my friend?
And you see she turns and looks towards him and says, "No, he's staying. He supposedly owns this place. We have words to discuss."
I don't think we're really in a position to bargain, Aomir.
Yeah, no, his eyes just widen. I look at him and I nod and try to walk away.
All right, and it looks like they're essentially allowing each of you to leave at this point. Is anybody doing anything other than being escorted out?
I'll sniff my arm where the one bit me before, because it seemed like she had a different reaction to me than they did to the rest of us.
Sure, give me a blind perception check as you're sniffing your arm on the way out.
I don't think Josephine knows what's going on. Jordan knows what's going on, but Josephine doesn't.
And I'm sliding each of you more towards the entrance, implying that you're sort of walking out here. You smell your flesh. You don't detect any kind of odor or anything that would signify anything out of the ordinary. All right, so as each of you guys is escorted out of here quickly, they make sure that you leave and get a distance away. You can see them watching the sort of outskirts of the entrance of this mine here, looking very carefully, and yeah, you guys start making your way away. Maybe some thoughts of Donjon, though you didn't know him for very long, being left behind in your heads. But eventually you do make your way away from this area and find yourself back out on the plains of the Sword Coast.
That didn't really go the way as planned.
Okay, so one thought. Maybe if we walk into a place where we know we're going to get surrounded, we don't do anything super hasty anymore. No, I'm new here, but that seems tactically improprietous.
I'm gonna kill all of them.
We can think about that another time. I think we gotta back off and discuss our next move.
So, Adam, based off them switching forms like that, do we have a good idea of what they are?
Give me a blind nature check.
Oh, I went to the wrong for my token, sorry.
I would say you've certainly heard of creatures that can change shape before, but this one in particular, based on what you've seen here, it doesn't ring a bell of exactly what this might be.
I'm gonna look around and say, okay, let's find a spot, we'll catch our breaths, and I'm gonna see if I can figure out what this initiation was.
I think they thought we were cheese or something. I don't know why they bit me twice. I was just trying to defend myself.
We kinda shot first.
True.
I want to ritually begin casting this again, Adam, once we find a good little spot, and see if maybe it's a poison or disease, and see which of us has it and doesn't have it, and go from there.
Alright, you find a little area, cast this spell, and look at your companions and yourself, but nobody detects as being poisoned or diseased. All right, guys, so we are at the end of our session time here, and we're ending in kind of an odd place. So what I'm looking for is a course of direction. Obviously, you know your friends Bryn and Finn are still back at Umbridge Hill. Have they perhaps recovered by now? Maybe they would head to Phandalin. Do you think it would make sense that your group would want to head back to Phandalin to check on them? Are you going to try to stage some kind of additional attack on the mine or reconnaissance on the mine, or a third or fourth suggestion or idea that I haven't mentioned yet?
I think it's suicide to go back there with at least without the other two. So I think we should reconvene with them and maybe come back if we have to.
No, I
It
think
sounds like we're
definitely
probably coming back.
Yeah, I mean, we can't just leave Don John in there. So we'll have to come back and get him. But I definitely feel like we got to get Bryn and Finn first. So I think we should do is short rest, make our way back to Phandalin, and then make our way back to here.
I actually agree with that.
Yep.
Go to Phandalin, chill out, and wait for them, and then. I mean, that way we can also get a long rest in the process.
I don't know if we're getting a long rest.
Well, I mean, from
In Phandalin, maybe.
in Phandalin.
Not here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, not here.
So
but
you want to
like-
come back the next day?
Yeah.
Well,
like-
we have to go back to Phandalin to go get our team members.
That's
so.
true. We walked for half a day, so we'll have to walk back the other half a day.
Yep, it is about a 5-hour journey. So it's 5 hours back to Phandalin, and you guys did do 5 hours, much like you just said there, Jordan. So you guys would either need to rest and then do like the last couple hours of journey the next day, or push in and perhaps risk exhaustion to get there tonight.
Remind me what happens if you take a long rest when you have exhaustion?
If you take a long rest, you lose 1 level of exhaustion automatically when you take a long rest.
Okay.
All right, so it sounds like the plan for next week then is you guys are going to try to short rest, return to Phandalin, try to meet up with your other companions, and then filling them in, perhaps come back here to the mine and see if what you can do about maybe rescuing Donjon or what else there is to see here. All right, with that in mind, thanks everybody for tonight's session. Hope you had a fun time. Was very interesting, some of what occurred here. And yeah, we will see what happens next week. So thanks for everybody for the session. Have a good night, everyone.
Yep. Have a good night.
Sounds
Have a
good.
night, everybody. Nobody died, so we got that going for us. All right.
Yeah.
All right, see y'all next week.